And then the other stream. Good morning, radio folks.
Good morning, CMR land.
Hold on one second there, Blake and Aaron. Good morning, beautiful people. Another rainy day in paradise. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, doing good.
So the showers right now are just passing showers. They're not the big wave of showers coming in the next 2 hours.
You mean there's more?
Oh, there's more, and then then it's going to rain all day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So
Wow.
let me give you a little picture here of what's coming there on the radar.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at that beautiful radar when it works.
Nice.
Amazing.
So you see that big wave is coming.
Yeah, that's coming in our direction.
It's about 25 miles out right now. So when you factor in the wind at 10 miles an hour, be here in 2 hours.
Wow.
Stand by.
All right. Pretty crazy.
It's Kiss FM, Blake and Aaron show, brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh on a Friday and a rainy commute this morning. We're going to get to that forecast coming up in just a second. But first, let's get some news.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Hey, Sandy, happy Friday.
Hey, Blake and Aaron, happy Friday. Can't believe it, but here we are.
Short work week. Went fast.
Beautiful.
Guess what?
All right. Yes.
Guess what?
We have another 3-day weekend next weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Next week, the first. Yeah, you're right.
That's right.
Oh, my God. But it's the last one for like a really long time.
Till November. Yes.
Till November. Yeah. All right. So in a shocking turn of events yesterday, a juror returned a not guilty verdict in the murder trial of Mr. Brian Welcome. And it's so many people are shocked by this verdict. I must tell you, I've never seen a collective degree of like people saying, what? Is this a joke? But yeah, it's not a joke. Not only was he found not guilty of murder, but the alternative charge of manslaughter, they also found him not guilty of. And this is the case, in case anybody doesn't remember, where he ran over another man. Everything was caught on video. Actually kicked the man after running him over. And a jury still said, not guilty.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I saw that yesterday when you posted that up.
Was that a unanimous? Or
Yeah,
was
it has to be. Yeah, it has to be.
Well, it could be a hung jury, and then there would be a mistrial.
No, all unanimous. They came to that all on their own, apparently.
Wow.
So pretty shocking.
You should interview a juror and see what their reason is.
You know what is so funny, Blake? I was actually saying this to someone yesterday because, having lived in the States for 15 years, it's actually very common practice for jurors after a decision to speak to the media. Sometimes it's the foreman. Sometimes they all get together and collectively do it. It's never happened in this jurisdiction, and it doesn't really happen under the English legal system. I don't think it's prohibited, but they just don't do it as a matter of just practice, I suppose. But also being in such a small community, I think jurors might be intimidated when you think about it and probably wouldn't want to do it.
Are their identities secret?
I don't know. I'm going to ask. That's a great question.
I'm sure you do an FOI on it.
Yeah.
Maybe see if somebody wants to talk to you. Find out the inside scoop.
How they, yeah. But, I have always said this. Jurors in the Cayman Islands are very unpredictable. I have sat in cases where I knew this was going to be a guilty verdict and they let people pass. And I just shake my head. So it's the jury system. It's very, very difficult to appeal a jury decision. And you don't know, they don't have to give you reasons. So you don't know what kind of logic is in their head or anything. But anyway,
this was the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to take a deep dive into the whole thing this morning. All right. So as you guys can see from the weather outside, more rain is being forecasted. The National Weather Service announced yesterday that we should brace for heavy rains and potential flooding. And, at the end of the day, what can you do? We kind of know what areas are prone to flooding, which would be all of Georgetown. So proceed with caution. They said from last night through Saturday, rain is going to be spreading mainly over Grand Cayman. The Sister Islands might get a little bit. And there will be higher than normal tides expected as well. leading to possible saltwater intrusion in areas that have historically been impacted by king tides. So you've got to look out for that. And there is a tropical wave out there as well. All of this, they say, could pose a risk of flooding across the Cayman Islands. Southeasterly winds, 15 to 20 knots with rough seas for Friday. That's today. And there is a small craft advisory in effect as a result of that. So just be cautious.
Yeah, that wave is going to come through and start in about 2 hours from now. And
Yes.
then we'll rain, for the next probably 4 or 5 hours.
Yay.
And then hopefully it'll move on out of here. So by tomorrow, I think we're looking good, especially for the Jerkin Wing Fest,
Yeah.
which starts at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m.
Oh,
at
yes.
Sandbar.
Mhm.
Come on down tomorrow.
It's
Yeah.
always, that event is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be dry by then.
Yeah, awesome. Let me see. That's not particularly good news for sure.
All right, well, let's end it there.
Yeah, well, National Trust. One more quick story. National Trust say that they oppose changing the National Conservation Act, and they're actually going to be on the program this morning as part of a roundtable discussion on this. So there you go.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, have a fantastic weekend.
You too.
You too. We'll see you tomorrow
All right, guys.
Or on.
at the
For
Jerk,
wings.
That's a Jerk Fest. Okay. I was like, wait.
Jerkin Wing Fest.
Yeah.
All right, take care,
All right,
Sandy.
guys. Let me get my links ready for everyone. Good morning to all. And I do also need to get Instagram going. So give me one quick second. I'm going to do that. And it's a little bit warm today in the studio. I saw a post from CUC reminding us that during these summer months, although we're getting rain, it's still a hella hot out there. Oh my gosh, hot and humid. Reminding us that during the summer months, because of the increase in AC units are working a lot harder. And trust me, I'm working a lot harder because of the heat. Trust me. On here. All of a sudden, honey Jill, say what? So yes, give me 1 second. So I immediately noticed the temperature change in the morning. And some of y'all thinking, well, Sandy, you are at that age now where it might be menopause. Trust me, it ain't menopause yet. It is still very much it's just hot. Summer's here. So let me just check my AC temperature, and then I'm going to send out the links to everybody. You see, this is set at 74, so I don't know why it's not moving, because I'm like, listen, honey child, we need to, and this is what happens, right? You're like, oh, it's at 75. I'm still hot. Let me dip it down to 73 or 70. This is when people like Tisha are like, yeah, Sandy, you're going to be in my zone soon at 72. Not to worry. I won't keep it there for long. I find that for me, I get hot, but then I cool down very, very quickly as well. So I think that's so funny. For those of you who watch the show, you probably know that already. Yeah, Sandy gets hot, but she cools down real quick. Literally and figuratively. Okay, give me 1 second. Everybody in WhatsApp is like, hurry up and send the links already. It's Friday. So I was a little bit confused yesterday at the end of the show, thinking yesterday was Friday. Oh, these holiday weekends where you have a missing day kind of always mess you up a little bit. But no, today is Friday. So yesterday was Friday, part 1. Today is Friday. Oh my gosh, it is hot. Look, I'm legitimately sweating this morning again. Okay. I still get like those old people with the seasoned people with their little fans, when they're in church and they have their little fans, and then they have their little handkerchief that they're going to keep in their bosoms. Remember with people in church when they used to do that? Granny used to pull out her handkerchief out of her bosom, and then she'd be trying to wipe you with it, and you're like, ew, Gran, don't touch me with that. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to have a full show today. We've got a set of roundtable guests coming on around 8-ish or so. So we look forward to that discussion. And I'll introduce them once they come on. So let's talk about the most shocking news. Oh, that's weird. Okay. That was strange. Hold on a second. Let me try to resend it. From okay. Uh-huh. All right, let me just resend this email. They said that they didn't get an email I sent last night. So let me just do a quick resend. Okay, all right. Let me just resend it again. Uh-huh. Okay, let's resend it. Let me check the email outbox again. Okay. So yes. Right. Okay, let me just forward it again. Okay, resent. There we go. All right. So listen, pretty crazy day yesterday. We were waiting on this verdict to come through. And so we're going to talk about this morning. It is, the most shocking of all verdicts in a way, but in another way, it's also not shocking for me in the sense that, yeah. Okay. So it's also not shocking in the sense that when you understand how jurors operate, I have come to the conclusion that there's absolutely nothing about a jury that will surprise me, like literally. Over the years that I've been doing CMR, I have had the opportunity to sit in court as an observer and really try my best to just sit there and make observations. And boy, do I make a lot of observations. I always like to see who the jury looks like, because a jury is supposed to represent, that's supposed to be a jury of your peers. They're supposed to represent what the community looks like. And so it's very, very interesting what the makeup is. Even in the Makiva Bush case, I was flabbergasted, the one that the court ended up basically stopping and throwing out because the prosecution screwed up. I was making observations and, you look for, listen, a juror of his peers would be Caymanians, maybe of a particular age. And I got to tell you, that was not necessarily the makeup of this jury. Mostly women. Again, that's the makeup of, I guess, our population. Mostly women in a lot of these cases. I would probably say maybe 75, 80% female composition. And then, from all walks of life. I would say a lot of times, not so many professionals, more like mid-level individuals, right? And lots of status holders, people who have acquired Caymanian through their Cayman right to be a Caymanian through marriage or residency. They've been here long. That is now the makeup. It is very unusual to see Caymanians of, 2 generations now in a jury. And I guess that's indicative of the communities that we live in. That's now a jury of your peers, because who our peers are haven't changed. So let's talk about this. It was a shocking verdict for everyone. You can never predict what jurors will do, first and foremost. So it just is what it is. Like I've seen them in a child sexual assault case, let the father walk. And I sat there going, did we just watch the same case? Because it is absolutely shocking that they allowed this to happen. Like how, and that's just jurors for you. So you can never tell. So Brian Welcome has been found not guilty, not just of murder, but the alternative, which was put to the jury, of manslaughter. They also found him not guilty of. So he said that he was in fear of his life. His defense was that he was in fear of his life and that he acted in self-defense. He's the owner of the People's Choice grocery store. A lot of people felt $50, which is absolutely ridiculous. So the evidence that came out in the court during the trial is that Ryan had incurred a $350, my apologies, dollar worth of debt for items connected to two separate orders. And the larger of the two orders, which was worth $300, is said to have been comprised of spoiled produce and was written off by Welcome, leaving a balance of $50, which Ryan never paid. So the evidence before the court was that on July the 8th, the events that led up to Ryan's death, which were largely captured in CCTV footage and played for the jury, and this is why some of you, again, are walking away scratching your head about this verdict. The first set of videos showed that although they didn't have any accompanying audio, there was, first set of videos, they show that Welcome could be seen delivering a case of water to an elderly customer at a shopping plaza along Shedden Road in Georgetown. While delivering the case of water, Welcome came upon Ryan, so they just happened to have met up each other. During a short greeting, Welcome said that he asked for the outstanding $50 in jest, according to him. Of course, Ryan isn't here to tell us his side of the story. Said that he was thinking nothing of it as the two men parted. However, moments after the brief encounter, the video showed Ryan using his Honda step wagon to block Welcome's car and confronting him. In the video, Ryan could be seen acting in an aggressive manner, waving his hands back and forth as Ryan drove off, and Welcome left a short time later, driving his car, which is an Audi A3, in the opposite direction. However, the videos show that Ryan then turned the vehicle around and began chasing Welcome towards his warehouse and industrial park. A heated dispute ensued. CCTV footage showed the two men arriving at the warehouse. As both vehicles stopped in the middle of the parking lot, Ryan exited his vehicle and began shouting and making indiscernible gestures towards Welcome's vehicle. A few seconds later, Welcome can be seen reversing his car and repositioning it directly in line with Ryan. Then he revs up the Audi A3. You can hear it revving up, followed by high-pitched screeching of tires, ending with a thud as Welcome struck Ryan, who was standing near the right front bumper of the step wagon. After striking Ryan, Welcome continued to drive, dragging him under the vehicle to the back of the step wagon. He then ran him over again and drove back towards the entrance of the complex and out of the camera's line of sight. Ryan, who had a nickname of Blacks, is seen struggling to get to his feet and staggering to the rear of the step wagon, where he collapsed once again. Then Welcome said, expletives, "Me will kill you," expletive. This is what Welcome could be heard on camera shouting as he returned to the scene on foot. "Blacks, me a tell you, for me give you," another expletive, "money and all now," Welcome again shouted as he approached Ryan. You are falla me like me owe you money. You are idiot." Shouted Welcome as he kicked Ryan in the head. As bystanders quickly rushed over, one asked Welcome what was happening, and he replied, "The man follow me round like me owe him money. Me tell him for let me money." His defense that he was during the trial was that he was in fear of his life. I mean, I'm shocked that all of that was said. "Me will kill you," expletive, and he still walked away for murder and manslaughter. Make that sit with your brain for just a second. During the trial, Welcome told the court that the events of that evening left him in fear of his life and ultimately caused him to act in self-defense. He said that he was shocked and confused. And he says, "I'm still in shock and I'm still confused." He told the jury, "I still cannot figure out why he came to the warehouse. I believe he came to the warehouse to kill me or do me harm and my son." So he had a KC, Dean George KC. He said that he could not see what was in Ryan's hand due to the lighting at the time. But of course, they want to claim that he was in possession of a gun, which isn't true. So I've seen the comments, and I see his family members even here today on the show with, a lot of commentary and a lot of questions. Listen, let me make the situation very, very clear. A jury's decision normally cannot be called into question unless you can show something that went on with the jurors, if there was any breach of the rules that they have to follow. If that comes to light, then that could lead to, I suppose, some sort of mistrial, and they would start over. There's no indication here that any of that has happened, to be clear. Jurors, like I said, they could make a decision with no reason, any reason or whatever. They get instructed by the judge, and you hope that they are taking the judge's instructions seriously in terms of what is required to return a guilty verdict. They did not return a guilty verdict. As I was saying on 106 this morning, that in this jurisdiction, there is no what do you call it? There is no way to sort of interview jurors that I'm aware of. I can certainly ask the question again. We don't tend to even have jurors identified. And in such a small jurisdiction, I mean, I guess you could understand why. In the US, it's very matter of fact that a lot of cases, jurors will be interviewed by the media afterwards, and they'll talk and they'll say about, what swayed them, were they all in agreement at the initial stage when they took the first vote, and why they made the decision that they made. I don't think that has ever happened in the Cayman Islands. And I'm not so sure that it's a feature of the English legal system, to be honest. I'll ask a few questions from some attorneys around this. So it is what it is. I mean, you don't have to like a jury verdict. Like I said, I've sat there before and saw them return verdicts that had me really stomped. There was normally the ones that shock me the most are the ones around sexual offenses. I find those the most shocking, but there you have it. So good morning to everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the program. Chevelle Johnson says, why is it shocking? Because you told lies. Chevelle, I'm going to make a recommendation to you, and I hope you listen to me very, very carefully. You need to come off of this program and log off with your ridiculousness. Nobody told any lies. We reported what happened in court. Were you there in court? Right? The media is not in the business of telling lies about a court case. We report the facts. I just gave you a brief summary of what the facts were in the case, and you can go to any of the various media houses who covered the story, and you will see the facts are all closely aligned, because that's exactly what happened in court. We report what he got on the stand. I heard he was a horrible witness, actually. Other media was like, he was a horrible witness. They still can't believe the jury believed a word he said. But there you have it. So Chevelle, do yourself a favor. If you want to talk to me, log back in at 10:30, and then you and I can have a conversation that I can't have on radio because it's only 7:53 in the morning. It's still early. You guys can defend this any kind of way that you want. We don't have to agree with you. We don't have to like what your brother did. He took somebody's life, in my opinion, in cold blood. Ran the man down. There was no gun, as you and your family members want to claim, right? His family right now, and the child that he was supposed to have come in visiting within days of his death, the child's ticket was already booked to come to the Cayman Islands, will be left now without a father because your brother has a friggin' temper. Come off this stream, all of you, before I have to block you and tell you about your behind at 10:30. That is the best suggestion I'm going to make. There was no reason. Over $50. There was absolutely no reason for him to run over this other man. I don't know either parties, so I don't have no skin in this game. But I'm telling you, it's that kind of behavior that makes all Jamaicans, look bad all over the world. It's like the case the other day in Jamaica. Oh, a man loses his life over a frigging crab purchase because he owed money and didn't, by the way, my apologies. Did I start the Instagram feed? I think so. Because he owed money and didn't pay for like a $25 crab purchase. Y'all are disgusting. listen to me very carefully. It's people like you and your brother and all of your siblings who want to get on the show this morning and come for us speaking the truth and speaking the case, the facts that were presented in open court, which you were not there for, right? It's people like you that make every single Jamaican hang their head in shame. Why, when you guys go anywhere in the world, they're like, here we go again. Y'all can't even go anywhere and behave yourselves. The opportunities that your brother have had in this country, he wouldn't have in Jamaica. But you know what? I tell you what, since you have so much mouth this morning and you feel so confident in your position, let me make a recommendation. Book your brother, Brian, on the next flight back to Jamaica and allow him to spend the next week in Jamaica, because I'm sure Mr. Ryan's family will find him and deal with him accordingly. How about you do that? Only man, can you people come here and flex your stupidity like you somebody? Shut the hell up this morning. Caller. Good morning.
I missed the first part. Are you saying that the guy got off? Like he didn't get a guilty verdict?
That's right.
What?
Of not just murder, but the alternative of manslaughter. So his family feels now that they can get up on my show this morning with their ridiculousness because, they feel like they have been vindicated. Let me tell you something. Not today, Bobo. Not on this program. You can go somewhere else with your stupidity.
Thank you.
These people are ridiculous. He didn't have to kill him. And in his own words, I for kill you. You acting like me owe you money. Over $50? Y'all have no shame to know that your brother, even though he has got to spend 9 months in jail, it should have been a lifetime. He is a very lucky man. But like I said, tell him to visit Jamaica anytime soon, because I'm sure people will roll out the carpet and wait for him to come back to Jamaica. Y'all have got to stop the nonsense. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, you know how ridiculous that sounds to me. Like if the man is such a big man like that, why he don't just go and drive off to the police station if he feel like him and his children is in a threat? If he felt like him and his child or his children, whatever amount he had inside of that car was in such a big threat, why he couldn't go to the friggin' police station?
Listen, he had a lot of other options. The fact that his family members have to lie and make up that, the guy had a gun. The fact that they have to put that lies on social media and in a post says what kind of people they really are. Bunch of
and then you want to go and make it seem like as if you are in self-defense, you want to run over a person.
Listen here,
man, listen to
Daniela,
me. A bunch
listen
of
to
cowards,
this
you know
comment.
how that remind me of? Back in school. That remind me back in school. You know, all them people that want to come and try and come and pick up weapon on you just because you intimidate them and want to come and try and beat you up or stab you up or something like that.
These people in the comment section are so ridiculous.
They
Daniela,
need to go right back to where they come from.
Thank
you. They need
you.
to go right back to where they come from. Look here.
Thank you,
I agree with
Alejandro.
that damn place.
All right,
Boycott that grocery store.
Listen. Let me make my position very clear. Daniela says, Ulin Cayman, Jamaicans look bad. We're the best everywhere else. Woman, please. Do I have any water? I don't even have any water in the studio because I would have just choked on my water. Daniela. Crazy. Just the other day, we covered a story of Jamaicans in New York on the court step selling guns and ammunition and drugs. The biggest drug boss feet away from a friggin' courthouse in New York. But you're saying that you guys are the best everywhere else in the world. Listen, nobody not here to hate on Jamaicans. Let me be very, very clear. A lot of us as Caymanians have Jamaican connections. My grandfather on my father's side was Jamaican. That does not mean that I'm going to sit down and support foolishness from Jamaicans. My husband is a Jamaican. And you know what? He's a decent individual. You guys are the ones who give yourselves a bad reputation. Nobody else is doing that. And it's because of situations like this. Your worst reputation is in your own country. Go to the Jamaican Observer any day of the week. Look at the headlines. Murder capital of the world. How many years straight? And you want to talk about everywhere else in the world, you have such a stellar reputation? Hey, child, please, what are you smoking this morning? That must be the bad stuff. You cannot defend stupidity. You cannot defend wrongdoing. Here's a headline this morning, since y'all are the best in the world. Constable arrested in CTOC narcotic sting in St. Elizabeth. Oh, yes, that's definitely the best. What other great headlines we got trending this morning? Listen, don't get me started. Annie says, are they both Jamaicans? Yes, honey child, they were. All right. Caller, you got to call the show line, and this ain't it. Well, I can't. People can still hear you, apparently, even when you're not in the show, because the mic is not that far from my mouth. So if you don't want to be heard, don't call during the show. Just send a WhatsApp message that I can read privately. Oh, Lord, how many times I got to tell y'all not to do that? Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandy.
Hello, dear.
He can't go back to Jamaica.
Listen, I will pay for his ticket. I'll give him a free trip.
Sandy, not only because of this incident, he is a fugitive there. He did the same thing in Britain, run away to Tower Hill, same thing, and he ran to Cayman. So he can't go back there any at all.
Oh,
not
really?
Because of this incident. So his family talking, listen, there's a lot of things out there that people know about this man. So they need to just listen, take the verdict and keep themselves quiet.
You understand?
It is sad.
He should be thanking God this morning.
Yeah, it is sad, but just take it and just the family don't say anything.
Oh my God. What a hot mess. Wow. Thank you, caller. I appreciate it. Y'all opening Pandora's box here this morning. But you know, we if this Chevelle says he's lying, okay. Can I will gladly purchase a ticket for your brother to go to Jamaica. Will you allow me to do that for him? We can make it a round way ticket in case he makes it back. I mean, there might be a slight chance he might come back out of Jamaica, but you know, I'm happy to foot that ticket for him. Now, the family of Mr. Ryan, I want y'all to pay attention to me. Because one of the things that this guy and his wife, I think, isn't he married to Kim Mannion? Correct me if I'm wrong. But one of the things that him and his wife started to do right away is strip down the labeling on the vans, trying to change, I guess, the company name and all this kind of stuff. Listen, he can get off in a criminal case, which he has. Lucky for him, right? Like the man said, take the verdict, go sit in your little corner and shut the hell up. It is still a very much a live civil case. You need to call Recover, the telephone number, in case y'all listening in Jamaica, 345-924-9999. They will work on a contingency basis, which means that you don't have to pay no money up front. And they will sue this Brian Welcome guy for every dime he has for the loss of your brother, your son, your uncle. He was a father. Make his behind get sued. He gets away in criminal court, just like O.J. Simpson did. They claim the glove didn't fit, but guess what? You can get a civil order. Sue him. And let's see how many of his so-called family members now are going to be supportive of him when he not got no money to be sending you back home. Yeah, how many of y'all going to jump in the comment section then? Go collect your coins. You need legal advice, and you need it quickly because he already started almost immediately to try and transfer assets. Only a wicked person does that sort of thing. Go after him. All right, honey chill. Good morning, caller. And go after the wife too. All the personal assets, all the business assets, take all of it.
Good morning, Sandy. Is it something that I'm missing? Hello?
Yes, hi.
Yeah, is it something that I'm missing with this, about this criminal that run over a man and then turn around, shot and turn around and kick the man and then and
said, let me quote again what he said, that but me I have to kill you because you're acting like I'm the one who owe you money.
I mean, what the hell were the jury thinking when they let this man go?
They don't have to be thinking much at all, apparently. I mean, we
It's
can't.
obvious that somebody must have been paid off.
No, I mean, I
And
wouldn't
that's-
say that, right? I just think with jurors, you just, like I said,
But you
I've
look,
sat in
you
cases.
look at the facts. You look at the facts. I mean, this man goes and runs over this man, revs up his engine,
Mm-hmm.
runs over the man, and then after the man is lying on the ground, go and kick him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the jury
Yes.
can't see that is murder.
Went and kicked him and said, "Me will kill you." Expletive.
What the-
On video, caught on video, could be heard on video.
Oh my God, we going to hell.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't even know, how he has status in this country. I believe because he's married to some Caymanian, but at the end of the day, our laws should give us a little bit of leeway, although he's not convicted of anything. Is this really the caliber of individual that you even want in your community?
But Sandy, people like that, unless you're really a hardcore, don't have any brains at all, he is a prisoner in his own mind because there's nowhere that he can go to visit Jamaica,
Mhm.
that he is going to come back alive.
Hmm.
And you watch, and I don't advocate any violence at all,
Yeah.
but let me tell you something. You got some evil people out there in the world that won't think twice of eliminating him.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
And I hate to say it,
my-
but the place that it would most likely happen would be in his own country. I mean, let's be very frank about it.
It can happen. It can happen here as well.
Yeah, it's not
And
likely to
I
happen.
I
here.
hope to God it.
But-
I hope to God it doesn't happen.
No, I
because
mean,
that's the last thing we want.
Yeah, no. And listen, I again want to stress that I'm certainly not advocating. Yes.
No, I'm not either.
Hello.
But this makes me so sick to my stomach.
Oh, thank you so much, Mama. She brought me my water this morning. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Mr. Dexter. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. This person said, kaboom, ×2. Boycott the store. Never been there and never will. We Jamaicans can be the best of the best and the best of the worst. So, I mean, I've never been to a store either, and I'm certainly not going to be starting now. That's for sure. And, I would not feel any way about other businesses who order from him and other individuals also boycotting him. Listen, there's a price to pay for these types of decisions. So I wouldn't be gloating this morning if I were his family members. In fact, I would not even get on the show and have a single word to say if I were y'all. But that speaks. Your character is being demonstrated this morning with your comments. Another person said a kaboom. Good morning as well, Sam. So true and moreover so sad. Amen. Thank you. Murder and manslaughter. All of them need to take a one-way flight back to Jamaica. Thanks to Alejandro and Daniela. ST, and you fill in the blanks. Y'all know what it stands for. We do have our guests waiting, so we're going to switch gears here in a little bit. But like I said, there is no judgment. So somebody says, how can we read the verdict / judgment? So let me just explain how this works. Another person says, kaboom for you, Sandy. So in a jury trial, right? Like I said, they don't have to give reasons for their decisions. They just make a decision and, it is what it is. You hope that they listen to the juror's instructions. What they say amongst each other in that jury room is private. So they might go back and forth. Like I said, we don't know if it was like unanimous from the very beginning, if maybe one or two were holding out and eventually they were convinced, because sometimes that's happened by the other people. We don't have access to any of that information. And under the Cayman and English legal system, I have never heard of jurors actually speaking to the press to say, hey, this is actually what went down. That happens in the American system, which, things are quite a bit different there. So, there's no written judgment. So if it was a judge, he or she would provide a written judgment and you'd get a better idea. And this is one of the reasons why, there is this argument that is still floating around, and it was sort of brought up a couple of years ago, where the powers that be in the legal system wanted to change it from judge alone to, from jurors, from a jury system to judge alone only for, I think, must be all grand court matters. So that hasn't happened. And, you know, I kind of feel I'm a little bit split on it, to be honest, because I do think that that's your democratic right to be judged by a jury of your peers. And like I said, they come in all shapes and sizes and all, you know, I've seen jurors who do not have the mental capacity, in my opinion, to even be a juror, to even sit there, because you can tell they're just not getting it. There was one that I spoke to you guys about in the last McKeeva Bush case. He did not want to be there. The man was like looking out the window. There are no windows, but he had his virtual window over here. He was not paying attention. He wasn't looking at witnesses. He wasn't looking at the evidence book. He did not want to be there. And I couldn't believe, I actually said to the prosecution, who picked this guy to sit on this jury? Did you guys not see this attitude during jury selection? You know, it's a joke here. In the United States of America, they actually hire professionals during jury selection to say, hey, pick this person, pick that person. You know, they ask you certain very, very pointed questions. In Cayman, it's very like a free for all because they're so desperate, I guess, because the jury pool is so small, they'll take anybody. Half asleep people are sitting on juries. And I'm not trying to discredit jurors in any way. I'm just trying to explain to you guys what I've seen over my observations over the years. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. But you sure we're not missing something that missed that you're not telling us why this guy get off? Because as far as I can see, I don't understand. Even a blind man, but I don't understand. You have the evidence, you have the videography evidence, and you have also the voice evidence of that camera that's telling you what happened, and you can see what happened. If it was self-defense, okay, you hit the man, you were scared for your life. You hit him, the man helpless, he's rendered helpless, right? And he on the ground laying down. And then again,
hold on 1 second. We have somebody from Jamaica calling, probably one of his relatives. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, this is Trevor. Welcome.
Oh.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, man. We would love a chance to speak. Yeah, you guys haven't given us any chance to speak about the situation.
Well, what would you like to say, Trevor? Were you there at the time of the incident?
No, I wasn't personally there. No,
all right. Nobody was there but the two individuals and the CCTV footage.
That's not true exactly. His wife was there. Some staff was there. A bunch of people was there actually.
Okay, what would you like to say, Trevor? Because you've had a lot to say in the comments. So what would you like to say this morning?
Man. So what I would love to tell you is you told a lot of misleading stories. First,
who told misleading stories?
Cayman Marlowe did that actually, because what you guys did is first you said that Brian chased Omar down. That's the first thing you said. Brian chased Omar down.
That was the prosecution's case.
Okay,
were you
that was false.
Excuse me.
False.
Were you in court?
If I was in court?
Yeah.
No, I was not in court.
So you don't know what the prosecution's case was. You didn't hear what they said.
But
you didn't hear what your brother said on the stand.
But I'm saying that's why they lost, because the case was not a good case. It fell apart because it was made up stuff. That's why the prosecution lost. They painted that image. They painted a situation.
That's not why they lost. Can I bring in? I actually have Wendy here. She wasn't here to talk about this, but I'd be curious to hear.
I would love to talk. Yes, I would love to talk.
Wendy, I'm not sure. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but you know.
And I'd said to my friends that I wasn't going to talk about people's peepees, and now you wanted me to talk about a jury. God knows.
So
listen, man. Like I was not in the court for every single day. I think there's some confusion here. The Crown did not say that Mr. Welcome had chased down his victim.
Yes.
No.
Crown's case was it was the other way around.
The post where you said that.
Yeah.
I can actually find the post where you said that.
Hold on.
Trevor. That would chase them down.
Trevor. You're talking about the day that the incident, Trevon, you're talking about the day that the incident happened. That had nothing to do with the reporting on the trial when the facts started to come out from both sides. So you're the one who's confused here. So we haven't told any misinformation or any facts about the trial. And that had nothing, that didn't come into play with your brother's case when it comes to what the verdict, what the jurors were able to sit there and have a look at. So you're the one who's a little bit confused, but continue. What else would you like to say?
Okay. So for the people listening, I can tell you what actually happened. So Brian went to make a delivery by Latin Taste.
Listen, we have the prosecution case and we have the defense case. For someone who's not even in
about it.
For someone who's not even in Cayman, we just gave the synopsis that came out in court. We just gave the synopsis that came out in court. You were not there.
So why have you not spoken? Okay, so why have you not spoken about the fact that Omar chased Brian down?
We just said that. Have you been paying attention? Have you been paying attention?
From Omar, avoided him. And
have you been paying attention?
Why have you not reported that Omar's toxicology report came back with drugs in his system? Why have you not spoken about the fact that when Omar got hit,
was that part of your brother's defense? Was that stuff that came out in open court? Where are you getting that information from?
What do you mean? Because I'm his brother. What do you mean where I'm getting this information from? Because I'm privy to everything.
Oh, okay.
And I also have
we're privy. We're privy to what happened in open court.
I just have one question for you. If someone were to threaten you and your family and chase you down to your home, and then exit their vehicle and further antagonize you after threatening you and marking an X to kill you.
You know what?
15 minutes ago. Let me finish speaking. If someone did that to you, would you sit down and allow that person to attack you and your child?
Let me tell you what I would have done, because something recently like that just happened to me. I was on my way straight to the police station. And in the course of going to the police station, hold on. In the course of going to the police station, as the person was chasing me, I saw a police officer, flagged him down, and got out of the car and asked for help. What I didn't do, as much as I may have wanted to do so, is run the woman over who happened to be my own sister. And trust me, I would have loved to have run her over, but that's not what law-abiding people do.
Okay, so let me say something else. Firstly, because we haven't said this openly at all, we would like to, express our condolences for Omar's death.
Really?
It's a very sad thing.
You're in the comment section, blowing up the comment section about how Omar had a gun.
I'm laughing at you.
You're lying about how Omar had a gun. Why would you say that Omar had a gun?
Not that Omar. No. I said to you, my brother thought he had a gun because that's what he thought. And that's what he said in open court, because that's what he thought.
Because I've seen where a car can stop a gun.
So 1 second, hold on. So 1 second. So in one breath, you guys are saying Jamaicans are dangerous and Jamaicans are aggressive and Jamaicans are.
Well, let me be very clear. We're not talking about all Jamaicans.
Not all Jamaicans, but some Jamaicans.
Yes, we're talking about Jamaicans like your brother.
Okay. Jamaicans like my brother, and Jamaicans like Omar.
Yeah.
Because what you didn't mention is Omar threatened my brother at Latin Taste. And my brother left and went home, assuming he was safe. And then Omar chased him down and continued to provoke him. So what should my brother have done? Sit down and wait for Omar.
Because it sounds like he had a lot of time. If you were able to leave Latin Taste, leave the grocery store, go here, go warehouse, you call the police, and you say this man is threatening me.
So wouldn't a reasonable, but he didn't see that Omar was chasing him. When he left the place, he waited for Omar to go right, and then he went left. He took very reasonable steps to avoid Omar. Omar then made a U-turn, broke traffic lights, made illegal drives, and this is all on CCTV footage. And none of
all right. Well, listen, sir, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. I don't have anything to say about that. You're entitled to your opinion, but what I'm telling you is your opinion is not being shared by the majority of people in this country.
Okay, but it is being shared by the courts. It is being shared by the courts, and that is really what is important for us and our family.
All right. Anyway, sir, that's you finished sharing your opinion with us?
Of course, I'm finished. You can go ahead and share it.
When will your brother be making a trip back home so that you guys can celebrate the verdict?
Whenever you buy
I can go. I'll go scrounge up the money today. I think I got a piggy bank full of some money. I'll call Cayman Airways this morning and book him.
Yeah. Because we're in Jamaica right now.
Okay, all right.
Honest with you. Yeah, we're in Jamaica.
Yes, I know.
Welcome to come.
All right, so we can book him for the next flight out over the weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course great. Thank you so much.
Whenever you want. I'm pretty sure you'll be safe.
Yes. Very good. Second caller. The audacity to be doing all this foolishness and then talking about you want to express your condolences. Really?
But like what I was saying, Sandy, something is a miss. I mean, something the court have to be left out, that they're not letting the public know why they made this kind of ruling, because like I say, even a blind man could see, even after what this young man has said, after what I know about the case or what I have read or seen about the case, that's a guilty verdict because you hit the person down, you render this person helpless. I don't care how much this person threatened you. He could have had a gun, but you rendered him helpless already.
Yeah.
He can't get up off the ground.
Yeah.
And you get to reverse and run over this person again.
Because
and then you get kicked.
The crazy thing about it, to think that someone would have to think that you would believe that someone would have a gun and then that you would try to run them over the car. Who does that? If he actually had a gun, I'm pretty sure you would not have felt as safe as you did running him over in your Audi. I mean, come on now. And he didn't have a gun.
Away. He would have ran away.
Of course.
But like I say, something is amiss of this. Something that we are missing our. But like I said, the court has been wrong in many occasions.
All right. So listen, our guests are a little bit tied for time. We're going to go ahead and pull them in. So thank you so much. All right. So let's pick up this conversation. Obviously, we're going into overtime today, folks. Almost 600 of you on the live stream. We're going to go into overtime at 10:30 because there are things that I want to say that I cannot say on the radio. So please hang tight with us today. We've got some important guests. Want to be respectful of their time around the National Conservation Act. We've got Wendy Ledger from Cayman News Service. Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
Morning, Sandra.
Yeah, sorry to have pulled you into that discussion. I know that's not what you were here for. Yeah. We've also got
Jury's spoken. Leave it at that.
Yeah, we've also got Frank Rolston from the National Trust. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Fabulous. Good morning, everyone.
Yes. So we're going to talk this morning. We're supposed to be having a roundtable discussion. Now, a roundtable discussion normally has all sides involved. Unfortunately, with this particular discussion, we can't get the other side, which is the government, to engage in any conversation. You guys heard me publicly say to them, come on the program, talk to the people. They've got their own channels that they could be talking to the people on, and they're simply not doing that. So we're not going to stop the conversation because, somebody said the radio signal is gone. Hold on one second here. Let me try to see what's going on with the radio. Oh, that's strange. It shouldn't be. It still looks good for me. Hold on. Let me just check in my phone real quick. I'll pull up the signal. Let me see. So should still be good. All right, give me one quick second. I'm gonna just try to listen in for it. Okay. So don't know what happened there. Give me one quick second, guys. I just need to play a music bed and see if we can bring the radio back online. folks. I don't know what to tell you except that we're not on radio. I've been listening to all of your messages and seeing all of your messages. The timing, someone said, is shocking because it was just as I was about to introduce Frank. I can't reconnect, so I don't know what to tell you in terms of what is going on. Obviously, a lot of you are suspicious. We were good and solid, no connection issues for almost a full hour. And then as we started this discussion, for whatever reason, I'm actually not able to connect at all. It's not even where I can connect and then it disconnects. I'm just not able to connect. So I guess the conversation will go on. And we will have the discussion for usual radio listeners. The great thing is you can always go back and listen to it on social media. The great thing for Wendy, because I know she's a firecracker, is that, gosh, if we're not on radio, you don't have to mind your manners too much with the profanity that might come out of your mouth. So you can have a free go. If they, for some reason, fix the connection, I will certainly let everybody know. But in the meantime, everybody's here waiting for this discussion, so the show must go on. So thank you both for coming to the program. Like I was saying, Frank Ralston here from the National Trust. They actually issued a statement yesterday about their viewpoint, their concerns about the what we say are proposed amendments, and we will certainly get to that a little bit later on. They're going to restart the connection on their end. So before conspiracy theories get out of hand, let's try it. Hi, caller. I know you guys think the premier is like the queen of Obia, but we're not going to make those accusations. They said that they will restart the feed on their end, and we will see what happens. Okay. He said, try now. So hold on one second. It can be, we've had tech issues before. So maybe just bad juju on the internet. No pun intended. All right. Let's see if we're back on. All right. We're connected. Hopefully people in Radio Land can hear us. So Wendy, you got to behave unless I tell you otherwise. All right. Let's get into it. So Wendy Ledger here from Cayman News Service. Obviously, you broke the story, which was quite shocking, that the parties that be, the UPM or UDP, what are they called again? Remind me, Wendy.
UPM. United People's Movement.
Right, UPM. That they're, having all these secret meetings, and they're going to be, making some changes. I obviously, media, I'm not asking where you got that information from, but how well placed is that information in your opinion? Wendy?
Sorry, Sandra, I'm not hearing you very well. I think you just asked me what my sources were. So I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not asking you what your sources are. I'm saying how well placed.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, try to turn the volume up for me a little bit. You are coming in a little bit low as well. So I'm going to try to manually adjust your mic settings, but just turn everything up on your side. But no, my question to you is, you've done.
It's not so much.
Go ahead.
It's not so much the volume, Sandy. You're breaking. The words are breaking up. It's not continuous. You know what I mean? You're coming across like.
Okay, sounds like it's a bad connection.
Intermittent.
Right. Okay. So tell us about your your story.
Well, obviously, since 2008, when we began Cayman News Service, we have had a focus on the environment. I mean, obviously, back in those days, we were dismissed as tree huggers and idiots and fools and all the rest of it. And obviously now, here we are sitting in an existential crisis when it comes to climate change. And I think anybody who watches the news can see what is going on. Now, there's not much that the Cayman Islands can do about the global problem, other than we could at least try and cut our emissions a little and do a little. But what we must do here is prepare for it, prepare for what is happening. And we are not. We are so far from preparing for what is happening. It's unbelievable. And in fact, what we are seeking to do, what the powers that be are seeking to do at the moment is take us back even further to the dark days before we even had any type of conservation law, because they want to take science out of it. And this is wherein lies the problem. One of the issues that I have is that the misinformation about the power and sorcery that Gina Ebanks Petrie allegedly has is absurd. There is no single power lying anywhere but with cabinets. It is cabinet that decides what areas are protected and what species are protected. No one else. And anything that nobody don't like, they can appeal to cabinet for it. So right now we have scientists making good decisions about our future. What will happen if the law is gutted is that we will not have scientists making good decisions about our future. We will once again be in the arms of the people that have the money and the power to influence politicians. And that is the problem.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Yeah, just 1 second. Where in the legislation does it actually say? Somebody said, please no calls. And I think it's important. Our guests have very, very limited time. So let's wait until this segment is over, and then we'll open it up to straight calls. But in the meantime, let's just hear our guests and give them an opportunity to make their contributions. Where in the legislation does it actually say? Because the other side is saying that Gina has more power than cabinet, that she is in a position that no other board director, nobody else in this country has. She's got more power than anybody else. And this is unconstitutional, that the legislators never meant for her to have all of this power.
Bullhickey, or whatever they say, if you can't say the other word. It's rubbish.
So where
doesn't. They are lying. This is a misinformation campaign at the level of Trump. Trump himself could not have done a better job than what these guys are doing. And this is all about the 1%ers that have the money and the power. And they don't give a shit. Sorry. They don't care whether we can breathe in 10 years' time or not. They just want $1, but they can't eat $1, and they're going to learn that, and they're going to learn it the hard way. But unfortunately, all the rest of us are going to have to suffer at the same time. Gina is not a sorceress. She has no more power than she does not have any more power than cabinet bestows upon her. So if cabinet makes a decision to protect an area, then it is her job to enforce that protection. Now you tell me, you want to talk about power? There is one person that has a whole heap of power because of the discretion that he has, which is Ian Peredu. The CPA is the most powerful body in the Cayman Islands.
And why do you say that?
And it is also influenced enormously by the development lobby. And unfortunately, the development lobby have oversized influence on our MPs. They pay, they give money to every MP to ensure.
Why do you say that he has so much power?
Sorry?
Why do you say that he has power? What examples in law can you speak to when you speak?
Well, for example, he has discretion to waive. So somebody comes along with an application. I want to build my house 25 meters close to the beach, not 50 or 75, depending on where he's onshore or sand. They have the power to say, yeah, fine, no problem. We'll waive that because you can put your swimming pool on the beach. And we've seen it. We see all the way down 7 Mile Beach, all those, there are many, many, many hard structures on the beach, along 7 Mile Beach and many other areas now, where the swimming pools, the bars, the restaurants, whatever, are far too close to the ocean because they were waived. And once you start with this waiving, which is what they did, it sets precedent. So every developer comes afterwards. And there is a false assumption that you can do whatever the hell you like with your own land. Well, you can't. You can't have a mechanic shop on 7 Mile Beach. You cannot do what you like with your own land. No country in the goddamn world allows you to do whatever you want with your own land. This is absurd. And we are allowing a handful of...
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Seriously, some of them need to go work for Trump because I'm still talking.
No, I was going to say, just be mindful of your language because you don't want to give anybody a reason. To get upset about today's show.
This is absurd. It's absurd.
Right. Okay. So, chairperson of the CPA, the Central Planning authority, has the power to basically make all sorts of exemptions, even if the law says setbacks need to be so much feet or whatever. He can do away with that. And so, in your opinion, that makes him far more powerful.
And
than
he
Gina
doesn't
Petrie.
have to consult cabinet. Rubber stamp. Of course. And Gina isn't powerful. This is the thing. She's a technical advisor, or rather her and her team are technical advisors. They are experts. They have PhDs. They know what happens when you build a swimming pool on the beach, which is something that the CPA doesn't seem to know. Whilst the CPA has a representative on the NCC, the DOE nor the NCC has no representative on the CPA.
Okay, so that's one argument specifically in relation to that. Yeah, Wendy, I'm not sure that you're hearing me, but there's an argument that she's more powerful than cabinet.
Sorry, I've lost you, Sandra. I keep losing you. Yeah. But no, Gina is not anyone. She's only as powerful as the powers that cabinet have bestowed because they have made protected areas or protected species. There is no other. She can only direct the CPA to do anything if it is involving a protected species, i.e. the blue iguana, or a protected habitat, so marine parks. That's pretty much, there's a couple of other, I don't think we've had any planning applications yet that have been for protected habitat where other than on the ocean, therefore in the marine parks. So there have been so very, very few. This idea that it is misinformation. They are lying. This is about money and it is about development and the belief that some people have that they should be in control and that running the economy is all about development. We need to change completely. I mean, we haven't even begun to discuss how much we need to rewild. We haven't even got, that's not even on the cards anyway. It's not even in the policies. When's the rewilding going to start? Because if we don't grow some more trees, we ain't going to be breathing soon.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you. Let me just clarify something that you said. So you said that cabinet are the ones who determine what protected zones are, what protected species are, and then it's once they have done that DOE and their team, right? So let's move away from making this all about Gina, because I think it's unfortunate that that's what it has become. It's whoever is the director of the environment. Yes, and then you say that they're technical people, they're the technical team. They're the ones who then make decisions based on the perimeters that cabinet has set in place.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So we're not going to take any calls this morning. Caller, I'm not sure if you heard me, but we're holding off on calls so that we can speak to Wendy and Mr. Frank. Both have very short time this morning. So we'll have open mic opportunity a bit later on. If you have any questions, yes?
We wanted to make an announcement about the meeting that we had planned for this afternoon at the 8 Bush Play Field. We want to let the public know that we have postponed the meeting until further notice. We haven't canceled all the way. We want to let them know that we're still on it. Because we want the answers from our 19 elected officials to come out and tell the public what.
Right. So I don't think very many people knew that you had set a meeting. So, but now you're saying that the meeting isn't going forward. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So give us details when you've reset the time and stuff like that, and what the meeting's about.
Yes, on Facebook and stuff. But
all right,
we'll let you know. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, because you're canceling a meeting that people didn't seem to know anything about. All right. If you have any questions or comments for a guest this morning, by all means. Frank, representing the National Trust, you guys issued a statement yesterday. So let's go through exactly what your statement is about and what the position of the National Trust is about as well.
Just for matters of transparency, the National Trust has a seat on the NCC.
Okay.
And I occupy that seat.
Mm-hmm.
So when I speak about matters of the NCC, I can speak firsthand because I attend the meetings.
Very good. That's excellent to know, actually. So tell us a little bit, Frank, about who else is on the NCC, because again, there's been this hyper focus on there's one lady who's making all these decisions, who has developers in a stronghold. She's making all these decisions. So the NCC is who? What type of people are on the NCC?
Before I answer that, I would just like to say that saying that she has all this power and she's making all the decisions is an insult to the good people who are on the NCC, including myself, who actually attend the meetings. We spend time going through the agenda and all the items, and I can be very honest with you, there are times, and you can look at the NCC minutes online, where I have voted in difference to the majority, but I accept the decision of the majority of people on NCC. I don't always agree with everything, and not everyone always agrees. People can abstain, and they have the right to vote yes or no. It's a democratic process. It's not a dictatorship. So I think the idea that is being put out there that I rub my thumbs for 2 or 3 hours is absolutely absurd. I have better things to do with my time than to try to be a yes man for anybody. That doesn't happen.
Right.
So the NCC is actually made up by law. It's supposed to have representatives from each district, and each of the members is supposed to have a qualification of something to do with conservation, because it's a national conservation council. So they're intended to be scientists or people from the natural world. Just to clarify, I am not a scientist. There is a representative from the National Trust, and there are 3 government departments that are represented on the NCC, which includes planning, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Environment. So it's made up of 13 members. There are 13 people on the board. And like I said, the other members of the board all come from various districts around the Cayman Islands. So that is the makeup of this board. I've only been for me to be on the board when I started in this role at the National Trust. It took me a few months before I could be appointed, because I had to be appointed by cabinet onto the board. The National Trust doesn't have the right to appoint whoever they want to the board. I had to actually be approved by cabinet, and thankfully I was, and now I serve on the board. So that is the makeup of the board. That is how it's supposed to be done, because let's not fool ourselves. It is a national conservation council. The people who are on the board are supposed to be acting in the interest of environmental issues of the country. I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I've been involved in environmental things my entire life, and I'm not young, and I'm not ashamed of anything that I've ever done. I love the fact that we still have things that I could teach my children for them to teach their grandchildren, both in the marine and the terrestrial world. We have an incredible home of biodiversity that very few people understand, and there has to be a level of protection for it, because if not, we can be Miami Beach. And you know what? If we want to compete with Miami Beach, they'll beat us hands down every time, because it's probably a lot cheaper than coming here. So we don't need to, I understand. I'm not saying that we don't need people to make an income, and that we don't need construction and development and stuff. But the board, the NCC, is intended as a buffer to try to make sure that whatever it is that's proposed is in keeping with the environmental concerns of the public of the Cayman Islands. We're not there representing special interests, I can assure you, and particularly the director of the Department of Environment. If I thought that this was some sort of special interest board, I wouldn't be on it, and that's not the case. The special interests are operating elsewhere. So the National Trust did issue a statement. And that statement basically is a statement of frustration, because even though the National Trust law requires us to be give consultation to government, and we have outputs that we have to provide to government, and I have to say we have worked very closely in a great many ways with government. So this is not the National Trust. We're not anti-government. We work with the government, and we ourselves are created in law. The difference between the NCC and the National Trust is my board, all 24 of them, are elected representatives, with the exception of the 3 appointed government representatives. So we have a democratically elected board, and those people come from every district and then from all walks of life. So that the NCC is a cabinet appointed board. The National Trust Board is a democratically elected board, which our AGM is in September, and we'll see who our board will be after that. We have a responsibility to advise government. That's part of our mandate. We also have a responsibility to look after the interests of our environment, and that is in our mandate. We also have a mandate to look after our historical treasures. But of course, when this law was created back in 1987, probably it was watered down a bit to make sure that it could be passed, and it was passed with only 2 no votes in the Legislative Assembly. It was probably watered down from its original strength. So the trust doesn't have a lot of the powers that people seem to think that we have. We don't really have a lot of powers to do anything, but we do have a mandate to advise government. And if government was going to change something which is going to affect the environment in the Cayman Islands, we feel like we should be consulted. We should know what's going on. And right now, it doesn't seem like anyone really knows what is going on. We don't know what the changes are, so we can't address them. And if the changes are positive and they're going to be in the interest of the Caymanian people, then I don't understand why we don't know what the changes are. And I don't understand why there's not somebody on this program to tell us what these things are, what is going on. And that's what I think is driving a lot of the public outrage, is the fact that if you're acting in the interest of the Caymanian people, then the Caymanian people have a right to know what it is exactly that you're doing. So that's kind of my way of putting in a nutshell what our release says in a much more eloquent way. You know,
Can I just pause you right there for a quick second, Frank?
Yes, of course.
Wendy, in relation to, we see Cassius asking the question here in the comment section as well. In relation to what is being proposed, he says, what are the proposed amendments? Prefer to know the facts before I start screaming that the sky is falling.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because Frank's right, and so is Cassius. We don't know for sure. What we know, if you like, from the sources and everything that's happened, and the drafting that's been seen, is the intent of what they're trying to do. So how they're actually going to do it, I think, remains in question, and this is the issue, because what they want to do is that they want to exempt Cabinet from having to do EIAs for projects that it's associated with. So that's the first thing, is this, and this goes all the way back to right after Wayne lost his seat in 2017, and the then PPM Premier, who's Sir Alden, had said, when he started saying that it was ridiculous because, and his main focus had been roads. So they were concerned about the fact that they had to do these big EIAs for roads. And that was where they had attempted to got the same thing, to try and stop government from having to do EIAs, because it delays everything. If it takes you 2 years to do a decent EIA and you're only in office for 4 years, it's going to be hard to deliver if you've said, oh, I'm going to do a big project like a port or like this or like that or whatever, or a big road. So that was why they wanted to do that. But they also want to go further with this, which is far more important, is that they want to gut the council, because they want to take the scientists off it. And go, and when you look at how many boards there are across government that do not have technical expertise on them, that is a major problem. And that's why we have all these poor decisions being made all the time. The reason why we are looking at erosion on 7 Mile Beach is because of poor decisions made by people that were not technically able to make those decisions. And yet you want to go back to doing that when we've got this. The NCC is one of the most qualified boards of any kind in the entire country. And as Frank says, it is democratic. People talk about the NCC and talk about the NCA as though they know what it is, and they don't, because they don't watch it, they don't attend the meetings, they've not read the law, they don't know how it interacts with all the other. It's people just want this idea that because they own land, because they're rich, they get to call the shots. And when they give money to politicians and then those politicians don't deliver on the development that they want to do on their lands, then they kick off. And that is what's going on right now. There is too much development going on. The PPM were ousted from office at the last election because of development. Let's be fair, whatever where you slice and dice it, Sir Alden did a pretty good job going through COVID. He shouldn't have got booted. He should have been re-elected. If you were basing on the competency of, like, a cabinet, I mean, okay, I know that the health minister was a bit of a comedy show and a diversion for us all, but I mean, it kept us entertained. But the rest of them, they did a good job, but yet they got voted out. And why did they get voted out? And it was raised at every single public meeting. Too much development, too many people, too many cars, houses, empty palaces. The place is full of empty palaces. Where's the houses for us to live in? Nobody can afford rent now. You're looking at one single room over your head. You cannot get for less than $1,000. It's absurd. And this is because we have sold out to developers. And they want to sell it out. They want to sell it out even more. You're watching the TV every day. There's wildfires in New Mexico. There's people up to their thighs in water in Texas. There's 107 degrees yesterday in Maine. And the week before, it was an Arctic wind in England in June. The planet is messed up. And we are in for some serious shit in the coming years. And what you want to do, you want to make things as bad as possible for us. That's what they want. They just want to make a dollar now. I don't know where they're going to run with their dollar once things really hit the fan, but that's what they seem to want to do. That's more important than to the rest of us breathing. People are living in environments without a tree. It's absurd. That law was watered down right at the beginning in any event. Sorry, I'm ranting.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's talk then a little bit about this question mark, right? So there's a big question mark, Cassius and other people, about exactly what they intend to do. Wendy
they want to remove the scientists from the board and the scientific technical decision making from the board, from the council, and they want to exempt government from doing EIAs. That's it in a nutshell. Like, yes, it's going to be more complex than that, and yes, there's going to be nuances and little changes here and there or whatever. And they're gonna struggle. But I personally think, and I'm really hoping that the trust might do it because they're kind of an NGO and so they're in a position to do it, or some wealthy benefactor will challenge whatever they do in the courts as being unconstitutional. Section 18 of the Constitution requires that government obviously complies with the environmental considerations. And more importantly, we've signed all of these other treaties and everything. And if we start taking technical expertise away from decision making that will impact mangroves and wetlands, it's in breach of an awful lot of as was explained by Stuart very eloquently in his fantastic statement on Wednesday. And also the National Trust has also said it today as well. Well done.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, why do you think, I mean, Cassius and others, we could have a very, very clear decision here, or discussion, I should say, if they would simply join the conversation. And we've invited them.
But they don't want to. You can't consult when what you're saying is rubbish. How can you consult with the people if you're saying, oh, we have to do this because Gina has all of these powers? It's bullshit. That's just not true. It is a lie. And if that is what your starting point is, because that's the misinformation that's been flying around since this law was drafted passed through, before it was drafted, like 2011, 2012, this whole lie has been, misinformation campaign has gone on and it hasn't stopped because the 1%ers here that own the land and own the means of development do not want any restrictions whatsoever on what they want to do because it might interrupt their profit-making ability. And I'm sorry, but as a people, we've got to stop this shit because we are facing
just
watch that word. I don't know how many more times people have got that people need to realize it.
Yeah. So just be careful with the language because they're looking for any reason and all reasons at the moment.
Sorry. Apologies to all the young people, but I thought SHIT wasn't a swear word.
Haley says to please give Wendy a boom. All right, thank you, Karen. Love Wendy's passion on this issue. All right, let's talk about passion, Wendy, because there is a criticism of you. There are developers and others who say Wendy is she's overzealous. She's a crazy tree hugger. She's like this crazy environmentalist old lady who's just lonely and has nothing else to do but to write anti-developer stories, harp on and on and on about this. Who gives a ish? What she really has to say. So how do you respond to those people that say, Wendy, you
won't let me. You won't let me say it. I can't curse. You know how I'm going to respond to them. The 1950s are calling. I want their bloody insults back. That's what I say to them all. They're just dicks. And I really don't give a shit because it doesn't matter to me. It's like I am a journalist. I just do my work.
Yes.
Sorry. And I believe that the environment is, and it knocks onto other things, because this is what I'm talking about. We are building empty palaces, luxury accommodation for who? For the people that need safe, dry homes. We need to build safe, dry homes for poorer people. We do not need to build any more 27 million story towers or swimming pools on the goddamn beach, whatever. That's all got to stop.
Well, I mean, to be clear, yeah, I mean, let's be clear here. I mean, that's your opinion, Wendy, and that's perfectly fine. You're obviously, entitled to your opinion. But this issue regarding the NCC isn't even about that. When you look at the numbers and the development that is actually impacted, Frank, you can speak to this since you sit on it. We're talking about these are the members. Oh, that's the members of the planning board. This is a slide that I wanted to show. So what we're talking about here is a small fraction of the applications.
Absolutely.
That would
Absolutely. I think the NCA is nowhere near powerful enough. Because it barely, I mean, this is the thing, Wayne said it when he was on your show this week, it has barely touched the sides of stopping this runaway development that everybody said at the last election, all Caymanians have had enough of it because they're not benefiting from anything and they're losing the beauty. Every single day, this most beautiful, incredible place is being ruined by concrete.
What a mess. Frank?
The only thing I would mention about this is that there is an EIA that's been requested for the East-West Arterial. And perhaps if that had been done for the Linford-Pearson bypass, people wouldn't be swimming to get to work. In June, at the very beginning of the rainy season, the people are making this an environmental, like between people and a bunch of environmentalists. But the EIA does not only look at environmental issues. It looks at hydrology, it looks at a number of things, and it tells, or it gives advice. There's no doubt the road is going to be built. It's not going to be, this is not an exercise to stop. Where is the best place for the road, and how should it be built so that it does not have a negative impact on not only the environment, but surrounding communities, that it does not destroy anything of historic significance. It does not destroy anything of environmental significance. And EIA goes well beyond the environmental issues. This is an environmental issue, but it is much more than that. And I think if anything, God sent us some rain a couple of weeks ago to show us why sometimes these things are needed.
So we have a comment here. I'll certainly share this this comment on screen. These people are not. I mean, I don't know what to say. They're saying we're the experts on this topic. They say Wendy's not an expert. Let me have you guys listen to this. So this is a commentator's position. They say, seriously, Sandra, Wendy is full of, you know what? I support some of her points in general, but she has no grounds to be talking about the environment other than an opinion piece. This discussion should not be an opinion piece. Moreover, she can't even control her language on air. And they're asking, where are the experts?
Yeah.
We have invited, and I will do an open invitation once again. We will do 50 roundtable discussions. Every single expert in the environment, every single expert in Cayman who has a say in this and who wants to have their piece, will do it. Simply email me.
Sandra, that person makes a good point. I shouldn't have to be speaking on it because I am just a lowly journalist. I just plod around, just picking up stuff and write it down. And they're right. I'm not an expert on the environment. I am interested in the environment. It's the subject that I feel we should all be most interested in. But the reason why I'm here and why Frank's here is because so few people will speak out. Even this new one, just come up now. Hi, Don't Pay Paradise, but who are you? Sustainable Cayman, who are you? Amplify Cayman, who are you? People don't want to put their head on the chopping block because they know what happens to them. Bad stuff happens. and people don't want their lives impacted by it. I have spent my life not bothered about that because I don't have anything. So, you know, and as somebody says, I'm a lonely, ugly old lady or something. So that's fine. So therefore I have nothing to live for except for this, isn't it? Right? So it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I will talk about it. And so that's why I'm here. Not because I'm an expert, but because I care about the environment. I care about breathing in the future. And I care about this beautiful place that I've lived in for the last 20 years. This is my home, same as everybody else. I is a Caymanian now too. And I don't want to see it underwater. And we are down, and the government has made a decision to change a really important piece of legislation in order to please 1%ers and has not consulted. And the reason why it's going on behind closed doors is because they know the people don't want this. They know full well that their donors do. So what do? Steve McField said it. It's the donors that win elections, not the voters. And this is where we're at. That's why I'm here. I would love it if someone from Sustainable came on. Don't Pay Paradise. Educated environmentalists were here, and there's a lot of them out there. I know them. They're good people, but they have concerns about what will happen to them if they speak out. And even when you speak to people from the DOE, they're not going to give you an opinion.
Is there? Don't Pay Paradise. You guys are on here. So again, where is your experts? Where are they? I think it's a fair and good question. So Damien says the experts are not experts. They're just on a board. So I don't know what board he's speaking of, but Frank, who are the experts that are on the NCC?
I'm assuming that that's a public document.
Okay.
I don't want to call out everybody on the air because I don't know if everyone's names right and stuff. I'm relatively new to the board. I mean, Mrs.
Almost all of the members have got experience or expertise in some area that's related to conservation in some way, shape, or form. Every single one of them has got some.
That is a lot of public information. That shouldn't be anything. I don't know. I don't know if it's updated, but I'll give. Hold on one second. I'll just.
And it's on the web. It's on the conservation website.
Yeah. Hopefully, this is an updated list.
I would just be afraid that I would leave someone out or something because
Yeah. No worries.
I go to all the meetings, but I don't remember. Some people don't come to the meetings. One or two people. So.
All right. So here's the names that we have that's available on the website. So it says here, we've got statutory government appointees. So Department of Environment has a representative, Department of Environment, both the deputy and the director, Department of Agriculture, Department of, on behalf of the Planning Department Director, National Trusts, and then we've got cabinet appointees. So these are the people who are appointed by cabinet, including Patricia Bradley, Captain Harrison Bothwell, Stephen Broadbelt, Pierre Foster, Ian Kirkman, Stuart, is it Mailer? Mailer. As chair, Lisa Hurlston, Mackenzie, Frank Rolston, and Lucille Seymour, all members, and John Bothwell is the secretary. Okay, so for those of you who wanted to know who that is. Right. Caller, we're actually on air. Are you trying to call the show? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All righty. All right, no problem. Okay, thanks. All right, folks. So that's just an urgent call from the Humane Society. Flooded out again today, looking for fosters. So I know the other day they had an amazing response from the community. People stood up and were able to assist. If you are in a position, again, that area is very known for flooding. Please contact the Humane Society. They need to get the animals out of there again because once again, their facility is underwater. So please step up if you can assist. And I'm sure you guys know how to contact them directly, and we'll post something on social media as well. All right, Wendy. So we've established that you're definitely not an expert. You're just an overzealous, concerned old lady who apparently has nothing else to do.
I think you forgot ugly.
Oh.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like whatever.
Yeah, we've also confirmed that there is a degree of speculation about exactly what it's going to be. Let's step back a little bit, Wendy, because I want to talk about the PPM government, right? What they were trying to do, because there was some discussion, and they even formed some sort of advisory committee or something, because they had made comments about the fact that that this wasn't working and they wanted to change it, although they were the government that put it in place. Do you know what happened to this committee that they supposedly put together?
Yes, I do, and I've seen the minutes for several of the meetings. So let me tell you, they had discussions about these issues that they wanted to address, that they thought, and the same, because they bought into the same propaganda about, oh, it's so powerful and all this lot. But when they actually went through it and they realized it wasn't at all, and that anything that they were going to try and do would have an impact on something else. So there were going to be unintended consequences for all of the changes that they were going to make. And so it fell by the wayside, and everybody stopped talking about it, and we all just carried on. And as is evident from the amount of development that's gone on since then, it did not have a detrimental impact at all on anything. The amount of directions that have been given by the NCC, and delegated to Gina to do it. They only delegated to Gina because she's got the team. That she has that group of experts that are able to do all the science work. She's not delegating it because it came out of her ass, her bottom that morning. She's doing it because these people are experts, and they have said, oh, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. So the only time she's done it is when it's like really serious, i.e. building a house in the ocean where the turtles are. I mean, if that wasn't the best possible use of the law, and the fact that they went to court, I'm really glad they did it. They won every single time. This effort to dilute the law is there's no consultation, because you can't consult if you're starting off from a lie. They've already tried to do it in the past and found out that if they did it, they would run afoul of a whole load of other issues. So we are back to that same position where developers are pressurizing cabinet, and the members of cabinet are dependent on the developers for the money. It's as simple as that. And Wayne spelt it out the other day on your show, what this is about. And this is exactly what it's about. They don't care about the impending crisis, because I don't know, maybe they're climate change deniers. Maybe they just don't believe it's going to happen. There's a catalogue of reasons why they're doing it. But I know the main reason why they're doing it is because they are fearful that as the climate change impacts more and more, they are going to be able to do less and less. So they want to control the situation, if you like, right now, so that as the environmental issues get worse, they are in control to be able to still develop wherever they can find somewhere high and dry. And they don't want to be having to avoid blue iguanas as they do it. The East-West arterial, as we all know, yes, of course, people are talking about getting a road into town. Well, if you really cared, you would have a much better public transport system, and you would decentralize. But they don't really care. So the road might be one thing to get people in and out, but it isn't about the road. We all know it's about development. There are certain people, moneyed people in this country, that own land in and around the East-West arterial route, and they want to develop it. And that's what this is. And believe me, it ain't going to be cheap houses for Caymanians. It is not.
Yes, Frank?
Because there's no profit in cheap houses for Caymanians, because if there had been, they would have already built them.
Yeah. Wow. All right, Frank?
I'm afraid I have to be a bit more measured in my responses to things, because
course.
I'm representing a very large organization of which I'm only a paid member of staff. Otherwise, you may have to curb my enthusiasm a bit. But I think, again, from a national trust perspective, like I said, not knowing what is going on, I'm not able to address the concerns, the items of changes, because I do not know what changes are proposed until we know what exactly is being proposed. And I'm assuming it has to be gazetted at some point, and then we and the public will know. Then we can address each change specifically. I suspect that the changes are not positive, but that kind of restricts what we're able to do until we actually know what it is that is being proposed. And that, I think, is what puts us all in a very uncomfortable position. Are we going to have a public consultation? It took 10 years of public consultation before the National Conservation Act even made it to the Assembly to be voted on. And even then, they did not consider all of the law. There's still aspects of the National Conservation Act which have not ever been passed. So after 10 years of consultation, that was passed.
Because there's resistance.
Public, but it was public consultation, and then it eventually passed, I believe, unanimously. It was probably a very watered down version of the original thing.
There were 55 amendments or something at committee stage to satisfy, to get it through unanimously. I mean, the spear gun thing, everybody freaked out. You know, I mean, there was supposed to be no more spear guns after the Conservation Act came in because of, you know, it's like fish in a barrel and all that. So, you know, things like that. But it went through because there was a lot of pressure from local fishermen. And so fair enough. For, you know, like at least that was poorer people that got a chance to influence the law, necessarily in a positive way. But it's usually the people with money that get to influence these things.
With the NCC meeting on Wednesday, we actually passed a spear gun license, I believe, and also a fish pot license. So the NCC considers all kinds of things, not just DIAs. And the fact that people are still able to get a spear gun license and a fish pot license is quite amazing. But you can, as provided that you follow the law. It's like everything else. We would love to be able to do whatever we want to do. But as Wendy did point out, I mean, there has to be some restriction onto what you can do with your land. I mean, you can't plant a ganja plantation on your land.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
But there would be consequences of it. And I certainly don't want somebody building a chicken farm next to my house or a pig farm. So there has to be restrictions. There have to be things that you can and cannot do with your land. I'm sorry. I'm all for capitalism. I've been in the business community my entire life. I understand it, but I don't think necessarily that means that that you're able to do whatever you want to do. That's just not civil society. I'm sorry.
Right. So we have a comment here. Somebody says 100% agreed. Just FYI, folks, we're not taking any calls right now. We're just trying to give our guests an opportunity. This person says, I will have to agree 100% on the overdevelopment view, 100% behind the National Trust position. What ignorant comments for the lack of knowledge or people perish. I'm 100% in support of the old crazy lady and the National Trust. Wendy, that's you. Wendy and her potty mouth, love it. That's closing the gate after the horse is out. The National Trust should be in the know. I hope all these elected expletive committing political suicide. I think it meant to say, I hope they know that they're committing political suicide. Now, there is something, Wendy, again, somebody sent the off-reg police officer image and said she got that dirty mouth. So we'll have to save it for 10:30 once we're off air. But Wendy, there is this further discussion that there is a division now within cabinet and within the government along who's supporting this. My sources have said that all members of the PPM, and again, we've not heard from anybody. It's shocking because normally the PPM would issue statements about, the government is doing this and we want to hold them accountable and we're watching you, government. And on this particular issue, they've been radio silence from them. And I understand that's because they're actually going to let, even if it's political suicide, they're going to let the UPM government do it, and they're going to vote and support it if it gets to Parliament.
I imagine they will. I've not had very much conversation with them. I have asked. The official answer that I've got is that the PPM are not in a position to say anything or comment about it at this point because they, as Frank said, they don't know the specifics of what they're trying to do. They haven't seen anything. But we also know that there are people on the PPM benches that have also pushed this narrative of the sorcerer Gina, or the DOA directors a sorcerer. They are also, I think they are also in agreement with the idea of trying to remove the EIA. But I also think that because they've been through this thing, they know the challenges that the government is going to have to do this. And so I think they will just sit back and watch and see what comes to Parliament and make a decision. But I believe that they'll be more than likely than not to support it because, again, they too have a certain, connection to the developers in this country. We know that everybody, the developers give money to everyone because they want everyone in their pocket. They want to be able to call them back out again once they're in office. They want to say, why have you not come through with what I wanted? And threaten to pull the plug next time because, until we address campaign finance, and it's the same in every country. That's not unique to Cayman. That happens everywhere. Special interest that has money buys the politicians. It's as simple as that. And they might not buy them in the 8-week election campaign, but they can buy them all year round. It's not. Right.
So then they don't it. So Jesse says, if you're a registered voter, please reach out and ask your minister their stance on changing the NCC. It's difficult to get them on record.
Yes, of course. And I am not so sure that I believe this, they're all split and there's lots of infighting. I feel that whatever the outcome is in the end, you will see people fall in line. They may be arguing now because they haven't come up with, I understand it's not set in stone yet. They've got something drafted, but I think that, they're going to be getting advice from lawyers at the moment, telling them what sort of difficulties they will now run into as a result of what they're trying to redraft.
Okay. So someone sent this, which is the National Conservation Act at 2013, part 7. So this speaks to the question of, the commentary that DOE and the director is all powerful. Section 39(1) says appeal against decisions of the council. A person aggrieved by a decision of the council, refusing an application for a permit or license, imposing a condition on a permit or license, amending a permit or license, revoking or suspending a permit or license, or under Section 41, may within 21 days of the date on which notice of the decision is received, appeal against it to the cabinet by serving on the cabinet a notice in writing of the intention to appeal and the grounds of the appeal. So how can anyone make the argument that she has power over cabinet?
Exactly. She doesn't. It's as simple as that.
That she doesn't.
She does not have the power that they are trying to say that she does. She has less power than the chairman of the CPA, much less. She's simply a technical advisor, and her agency is also the enforcement agency for things like, people overfishing or whatever, or taking in areas. And that's her job in law. Her job in law is to enforce the law. She enforces the act. And that also may mean if somebody is trying to build something in a marine park, that she has an obligation to direct the CPA not to grant planning permission because it will detrimentally impact the environment. And she's done it we haven't even counted all the fingers yet. Not even take away the thumb. We've still got fingers left. She hasn't directed. And they are the most, on the occasions that she's done it, they are the most egregious. How can anyone not agree that building a house in a marine park or a cabana with glass panels or whatever it was, in a marine park where turtles are mating and they're nesting, is not the place to have a house built in the water? The same thing with the one that's coming up next, with the clearing of the roads in the heart of blue iguana territory. So Fred spent all of those years bringing that animal back from the brink of extinction to have a rich developer put a road through it.
Wow.
I don't know what is going on as to why people cannot see that we must preserve our natural environment if we are to preserve ourselves.
Yeah. So this person has said, I saw a comment here. Let me just see if I can find it again. I think it was from Cassius about as long as people can move and remain in Cayman so easily, development will always be on the table. Why aren't we talking about holistic approach if we are serious about protecting the Caymanian environment? And then he said something as well, I read earlier, that we are interfering with multi-generational Caymanian developers' rights to develop their land. So where's the balance, Wendy, Frank?
No balance. This ridiculous idea that there's no balance. Where has it stopped? There are more cranes in the skyline than ever in history here. The amount of development is unprecedented. No one and no Caymanian is benefiting from it. except for the 1%ers. We have our own 1%ers, and they're doing fine. Thank you very much. Whilst the rest of us are wading knee deep in sewage water. And as Frank said, like, it's there for you to see. There was no EIA for the Liverpool Pearson Highway. So look what happened. The road barely opened, and people were up to their knees in water.
I mean, to be fair, Granite Gardens was always underwater. But yes. Symphony of the Sea says, I'm baffled at how we so desperately want these undesirable developers in our island that were kicked out from other countries for this same reason. And to be clear, Symphony of the Seas, don't make this an expat developer versus Cayman developer. There are lots of Cayman developers who've taken
this isn't anything to do with where people are from or where they came from or whether they were born here or not. This is about people that have power and money overruling the people that don't. So it's the minority overruling the majority here. And they all have the audacity to talk about democracy. They don't have a clue. They don't want democracy. They want dictatorships, and they've got it. Because this, like, at the end of the day, this government is going to do these changes if it wants to do them. And if it's getting enough money to do it, they will do it. And because there isn't any votes, there isn't any money in the environment. There's no money. There's no profit in protecting the environment at the moment. I mean, there will be eventually because there'll have to be. But at the moment, it is a sacrifice. People will have to think twice about doing things differently. And we don't even, our planning laws are just not suited to the modern environment that we find ourselves in, and building things that are much more practical. We need to be using much more natural materials. We shouldn't be using concrete all the time. Just because we're in you can build things in a way that protects you from hurricanes without having to pour solid concrete everywhere. There are a gazillion things that we could be doing to make our lives better. And that we green the economy. People can make profit. But when it becomes like the profit is unlimited, it's absurd.
Yeah. So this commenter says the Environmental Protection Fund was never handed over to the council. Cabinet still controls that money, not the council. Because didn't they use it the other day?
Yeah, they're using it for the dump. And they're using it to buy beach access points and things like that, which is not necessarily environmental, especially if you then go and put concrete blocks on it with toilets in them. You're not protecting the environment. That's a different thing. There's nothing wrong with beach access, nothing wrong with making beach parks, but it's separate from conservation.
This commenter says, someone just made an excellent point on YouTube. They're right. As long as we have runaway population growth, people moving here, development will always be a lucrative industry. Why isn't there a discussion at a broader level about sustainable inorganic population growth? There's a perverse irony in this, that those who are calling for environmental change in Cayman are those who moved to Cayman in the past 20 years, further putting pressure on that same environment. Just saying.
Yeah, well, you all invited me here, all right?
You all meaning Desmond Seals invited Wendy. And the position, though, that a lot of Caymanians, I mean, Frank, maybe you can speak to this as a cultural question, that a lot of Caymanians don't care about the environment. Is that a true? Frank, you're a multi-generational Caymanian. You guys go way back.
Well, I'm really hoping that we're going to find out very soon how many Caymanians care about the environment.
Yeah. And I think the difference is a lot of Caymanians don't have a big mouth like Wendy does. So, and they don't have a platform necessarily. So they so-called indigenous Caymanians are not speaking out. But here's one. Good morning, Miss Laura Powery Eglishaw. She's a generational Caymanian from West Bay. She says, thank you, Sandra, Wendy, and Frank for being so thorough and informing the public of the truth. We support you 100%. Maybe Caymanians need to speak up more. I mean, we can't hear from the politicians or MPs, cabinet, and the ministers where they stand on this issue. So now the question becomes, and Wendy's going to be leaving us at 9:30, so we'll start to wrap up with her and thank her for her opinions this morning. But where do you guys stand on this? And we're actually going to do a vote. You guys know we do some polls here in the program. We're going to do a poll on where do you stand on this? Do you guys think that there should be, again, we speculate about the changes, but effectively, where do you stand on the issue? Do you agree with the government's position of changing this somehow? Or, where are we? So we're going to put up the poll here in just a second. Let me think. carefully about the poll question, because I suppose, again, because we don't have any definitive answers about what the government is exactly going to do. Do you think there should be any changes at all? Is the real question. And again, someone said, Sandy, put that slide back up.
Yeah, I mean, that's
showing
the
people
question. It's like, do you want to preserve the law? I think that's the question that we need to ask people is, do you feel that the National Conservation Act should be protected as it is?
Yeah.
I think the thing is, the wider question is about development. I mean, people don't understand legislation. Legislation is written deliberately for lawyers to be able to twist and turn it. So we all know that. So, what we need to know is how much do people care about the natural environment that surrounds them? And do they want to see more of it destroyed or more of it protected? It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes further than that, because we are now talking, as you mentioned earlier, about culture and a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up going crabbing. I grew up going getting conchs and lobsters and fishing. That's why I have skin cancer now, is because we lived on the ocean, my sisters and I. We lived on the ocean, and we also went crabbing and got wilks and everything else. That is something that was very important to me to pass on to my children. I couldn't do it if we just allowed everyone to just come in and take everything they wanted and clean out everything. The present director of the environment took a lot of heat some 20 odd years ago, maybe it was 30, when she proposed the marine conservation laws. They were not popular with a lot of people. But look at them today. We have people now in the water sports industry who are asking for more protection because they don't think it goes far enough. These are the things, some of these things are not popular at first, but given time, you find out exactly how necessary they really are and were. And I got to tell you, my children are now old enough that I soon have some grandchildren, hopefully. I want them to be able to do the same stuff that I did. That's important to me because that's my culture. That's how I grew up. And it goes well beyond that, going up in the bush and getting around mangoes and other things. You want to name them, I can name them. If we allow any and everybody to come here, because we have local developers as well, but if we allow any and everybody who come here, they have no interest in this country except to make money, and they come here and we just say, well, you can do whatever you want. We're hurting our own people. This is about money versus people's way of life. And I think the way of life in this country needs to be protected. I'm sorry if that means that I'm an environmentalist, eco-Nazi. I've been called all kinds of things. I don't make any excuses, Sandy.
Yeah.
That's what I am, but I do it for selfish reasons because I want my children and grandchildren, my children already know, I want my grandchildren to be able to enjoy some of the things and learn some of the things that I learned as a child. That's where I stand on this. And if people don't like that, well, good for them.
All right. One Caymanian weighing in on this. She says, I'm 100% Caymanian. So the poll question is up, folks. You can use the barcode. We've also shared the link in the conversation. She says, I live in Spots Newlands and I was trapped in my house last rainfall. We need to protect what little we have left. Me as a Caymanian care 100% about the environment. I have nowhere else to go and live with my family. Not sure where those 18 elected idiots have to go, excluding Wayne for obvious reasons. So, I think so far we've heard Wayne, Heather. I've heard Kathy and Andre are also not in support of it. But again, none of them have spoken out publicly, whereas we know obviously what Wayne's position is. Another person says here, and Wendy has to go, but they said the EPF was set up to have money to purchase land for protected areas. They're using it for all kinds of things, including DOE operating budget. What benefit is there in changing the law? None. So this is a question perhaps we could end on with you, Wendy, because I know you've got to go, is what benefit is it to changing the law?
None. If we're going to change the law, we need to be, first of all, as Frank pointed out, I keep forgetting that there are still parts of the law that have not been properly implemented. So we need to do that. And then secondly, we need to be working on, as the climate crisis evolves, we need to, the law needs to be tightened up in other places as well. We've really got to think about managed retreat, rewilding. Some of these things are quite controversial, and I get it, but it is what's about to happen to us is quite controversial. You know, the planet is on fire and acting weird. So, you know, we don't even understand what's happening with the, you know, the weather circulation in the Atlantic at the moment. Was it called the AMO or whatever it is? There are all sorts of things happening that we can't even understand at this point. Scientists are baffled by. And we know that this is going to be a hell of a hurricane season. And I will not be surprised if we do get a significant hurricane. And we know that these recent developments, especially along Northwest Point, are going to get taken out. We saw what happened with just that teeny little storm. You know what I mean? Like last year, the teeny little, like the water, what happened to Northwest Point? And there is so much new development there. And I think this is where you're going to find the Caymanians that are really behind the environment. It started in West Bay for good reason, because it's West Bay that has become the developers' playground. After they couldn't find any more spots on 7 Mile Beach, they turned their attention to our district, and it is here. And it is here in West Bay where you will see Caymanians who want to see stronger environmental protection. And the same thing that Frank said, because it's tied into culture, it's extremely important. Like the part of the reason why we've had to put so many restrictions on is not necessarily because of what Caymanians have done, but because of an increasing population and the pressure that's being put on the fish stock. And it's we have people here that are really poor now. We are importing poorer and poorer labor all the time. And what do you think they're going to do to eat? They're not going to worry too much about the laws because they're hungry. And if they see a conch out of season, they're going to eat it. And we've done this to ourselves. The developers have done this to us. The developers.
All right. Well,
I've got to go because I've got to write some. I've got to do.
Appreciate it. Yes.
I've got to put Frank's statement up for a start.
All right.
So it's been.
I'm
sorry for the swearing, and I'm sorry for ranting. But I just think
learn how to behave yourself. We'll have you on for special hour segments. We'll have you on for special.
People are afraid to come. I don't care. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Nothing bad's going to happen to me. I've been here a long time saying a lot of stuff, and nothing bad's happened to me. I'm all right. I'm good.
All right.
So I'll catch you all later, and thanks again. All
right.
See you later, Frank.
Bye, Wendy.
I appreciate it. All right, Frank, thank you so much. Lots of people expressing their gratitude to our guests this morning. This person says amen. Another person says amen. Thank you and God bless Mr. Frank. Hashtag keep Cayman safe. Hashtag memorable. Hashtag next generation. So we'll open the phone lines now so that you can, have your calls and comments. One person says, under the current situation, the road or any government project can be shut down. So I don't know about anything else, but I'm defending and supporting that point of view, i.e. make it explicit and nothing else. So this again is about, there's an opinion here that the court decision, multiple court decisions with the NCC has basically said DOE is supreme, and they're saying that that's not explicit, and they don't support weakening the legislation, but that's where they are. So not too sure. The court decision, it seemed to, I don't know if it hasn't been, maybe we needed to have a segment on this where an expert and lawyer kind of broke it down a bit more, because there's a lot of firing of press releases back and forth. I think the thing with these press releases is that people don't tend to read them, first of all. That's a hint to any of you who like to send out press releases. And secondly, if it's a very complex issue, it can get very confusing because people don't know the law. And that's why I spend so much time on this program, sometimes breaking down cases and what happens in court and what jurors do, because I know that people don't have exposure to this stuff. I'm not saying that I'm an expert, but if I can help to explain it a little bit more to people to have it make sense, then maybe that'll help. 9362626. Phone lines are open. We'll hang on to you, Frank, for just a couple minutes in case anybody had any questions or comments for you. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. G3 here. Long time no hear, Sandy.
G3?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's G3?
Now, forgive me. I'm a little nervous because I get a little nervous from public speaking on the phone. But anyhow,
all right.
I got a wild idea.
Okay.
Now we all care about the environment, right?
Yeah. Well, not all of us, but some of us do.
Well, okay, and then like this whole conversation is about the east-west artillery road, right? Like that's going to destroy the environment, all that kind of stuff. Now, you know what my thought is? I don't think we need an east-west artillery road. Like what are they building the east-west artillery road for development or to like take away traffic? It's supposed to help traffic, or is it both?
Well, I mean, the primary thing that they've been saying is that we're going to save an hour in traffic, although Mr. Wayne Panton actually said that that's not correct because the NRA themselves have said something like it's going to save, I think, 10 minutes or something. So it's not going to be this hour of extra sleep that people are claiming.
10 minutes. Well, I really don't think that's very sustainable now, right? As far as trying to keep business rolling and traffic flowing and getting people to and from to work and home and whatnot. Now, I have a wild idea. How about a bridge over the North Sound? I know now this sounds crazy, but now, have you ever heard of the Mid-Bay Bridge in Florida?
No.
All right. Well, if you have a little time, try to Google, look it up, see what the pictures look like. This is the type of bridge that I'm proposing over the North Sound. Now, we care about the environment. We want to restore the beach. We want to preserve all the marine life and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is where I think my bridge comes very handy for the ecosystem. Now, we have the barrier reef that protects our little North Sound naturally as it is. Now, what better way to protect the inland areas with all the marinas, all the boats and stuff like that, with a secondary artificial reef with the bridge? And if you look at the Mid-Bay Bridge, you know, each one of those footings that you would put into the water, they could serve as an artificial reef. It can also serve like a little protection for the fishies that are trying to run away from the currents and all that kind of stuff. It can make all kind of possibilities. Like I saw, and then as far as the 7 Mile Beach, would we like to restore the 7 Mile Beach a little bit in all its problem areas? Yes.
So you think that a bridge is going to have in the water is going to have less of an environmental impact than a road on land?
Well, hear me out. Think of traffic as a cancer, correct? Right. All right. And in order to cure that cancer, you do need to make a small little incision sometimes. Right, to get that cancer out, to fix the traffic problem. Now, if you look at the roadmap, right, all our traffic problems from right there by Savannah area, to all the way to Georgetown, around the airport to Delworth gas station. That's our main problem area. That's where all the traffic begins and ends. Correct? And there's no way around it. We can't make the roads any wider inside those areas. We can't fix it any more than what it is, unless there's going to be eminent domain, or if there's going to be people willing to sell their property so they can widen the road in certain areas. And I don't think nobody's going to do that. So that's why I suggest a bridge over the North Sound. And then the way we could fix the 7 Mile Beach, because each one of those footings that they would have to put into the ground and dig into to the hard rock to put those footings in for the bridge, they could take half of that sand and put it right there on the 7 Mile Beach. That way, we have local sand that's replenishing our beach, and the way they would have to engineer fixing the beach. You know, I'm not sure if you've seen any YouTube videos on how they restore certain areas on the beach, but they have like a lasagna method where they have like these sandbags, blankets, and they lay it over the ocean floor, and they put regular sand over it, and they put another thing of sandbags and put more sand. It's kind of like a layering. That way you can build up the 7 Mile Beach in all its problem areas. So, I mean, I'm not too sure if it makes any sense to you to do something like that, but I mean, like, yes, I do believe there's many benefits towards a bridge over the North Sound. Not only that, you can get from the North Sound, think of this, you can get from the North Sound to West Bay in 20 minutes. What better way of saving the environment by like canceling out what we call carbon CO2 by cutting out 2 hours of the drive or 3 hours of the drive. You understand what I'm saying? You need to bring a bridge from that road from, what do you call it? The new House City, where they built that road. Go straight through over the North Sound and come straight to Frankstown Road. Boom. You're saving a lot of the environment, and with one small cut, and it'll be the last time you have to worry about traffic ever again. I mean, I don't know if anybody agrees with that, but
well, based on the comments, it seems like most of the people don't. But anyway, leave us there with those comments. I appreciate it. All right, so I have shared the poll link with you guys. So far, 87% of you have said that the National Conservation Act should remain as is. 13% no to make changes. So continue to vote, and please share the link with others as well. So Frank, lots of people obviously. Haley wants to know what you think about this whole bridge idea.
Well, I think we'd have to go back to some 25 years ago when the original Master Ground Transportation Plan was proposed, I believe, by the then minister, Mr. Pearson. And I really don't know what research was put into determining what the best ways forward were at the time, 25 years ago, probably longer than that now. And they gazetted these gazetted these corridors for these roads a long time ago. So they've been there for a very long time. I don't know if a bridge was considered at that time when they were doing it. The only thing I would suggest to you is this. I understand that we have the politicians have a service to the public to provide transportation for them in probably the most efficient and economical way that they can. At the same time, you have to take into consideration many things. I don't honestly believe that this country can afford to build the entire east-west arterial as it's proposed. And I don't know how the money is going to be raised to build that road. So to say that we would build a bridge, which would obviously, in my mind, was probably the more expensive way to do it, I think maybe we should be a little bit more mindful of the fact that we're still a very small speck in the grand scheme of things. We cannot afford to do everything. And maybe we should be looking at this as doing a little bit at a time.
Yes.
When we have so many other pressing issues that we are not addressing, such as the overcrowding at the Owen Roberts International Airport that was just finished a few years ago. The fact that we, like I said, we have roads in Georgetown where there's not a sidewalk for people to walk on the side of a main road in Georgetown, but yet we're paving stuff all over the place. I just think that we need to prioritize what we need to spend money on, and we need to spend the money carefully, because you know what, I'm not a young man anymore. There's going to be other people who are going to be paying for this, probably not me. And they're going to be paying for it with taxation, because that's how it works. Cayman has a brilliant system of taxation that makes you easy to forget that you're being
taxed.
Because you don't get it taken out of your salary as you do in most other countries. But every time you eat something, every time you drink something, every time you buy something, you are paying a tax. That money is supposed to be used by government to provide services to the people who are providing the money, which is me and you. And so we should certainly have a say in how that money is spent. And I can tell you, I don't really feel, and I'm speaking with my National Trust hat off right now, because this isn't a National Trust issue. I'm just saying, as a Caymanian and somebody who actually, I've been around for a while and I've seen a lot of things. I just think we need to really sit back and say, wait a minute now, what should we be spending this money on? What do we really need? I'm not saying that we don't need a road, but maybe the entire road as it's proposed, is something that we could put parts of that on hold, if that's what we have to do, and use money for the things that are pressing in this country. And we have a lot of them. If you just look around, you will see. And that's one of the things that I think is absent from this picture, is that we see a lot of development. We see all this construction. We see everything going on around us. We're going to soon have more hotels than anywhere else. But I can tell you, then I'm hearing, well, people are hurting and we need this development. Well, the development does not seem to be helping the people who are hurting. And I think that is an issue. That's just my personal opinion. And please forgive me because I'm not speaking right now on behalf of the National Trust for the Cayman.
Not a problem. Someone says that not only will the East-West Arterial not save any time, but how do you plan to pay for it? They're putting all this money to the Brack School and no plans for where that money is coming from. They can't even afford the road. They're so desperate to build. To Frank's personal opinion, he's also asking, where is the money going to come from? And I can tell you something that the NRA has said before. This concept of a bridge, they've said, is pretty much an unreasonable one in their opinion, in the astronomical costs, as well as the potential environmental impact of having to dredge to put down those big pillars and all that sort of stuff. They said that building a bridge is a pipe dream and most of you should just let go of it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Sandra. How are you doing today?
Not bad, darling. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to call on. I'm actually a young Caymanian that doesn't normally listen to your show, but my mom and my grandma actually sent me this because this is something that I'm very passionate about. I want to say thank you to Mr. Frank and Miss Wendy for providing the information that they did to the public. I just wanted to come on really quickly and say, for the people who do not believe that this is a real issue in terms of the prioritization of this National Conservation Act, you guys have to look in the mirror and realize that there's other countries around the world that are already starting to face the brunt of issues like climate change because of overdevelopment. Now, I'm going to take a case study really quickly and tell you about a country called Tuvalu, which is in the Pacific. They are going to be the first digital island nation because of climate change and lack of environmental policies. Look it up.
What does that mean when you say the first digital island nation? What does that mean?
So they will actually be putting all of their culture, their heritage, their history on a database because their islands will be gone. There will be nothing left for them.
Oh, wow.
So this is something that I learned.
And that's because of flooding, like water levels rising?
Water level, climate change. Their reefs are turning white, of course, because of the coral bleaching. So this is a real issue. I've been having a lot of conversations with Caymanians lately because this is the space that I live in. And the common consensus among us is hopelessness. And it's so interesting because there was a meeting that was held last week, Wednesday, with on behalf of the CARICOM youth ambassadors of the Cayman Islands. And it was apparent that our young people are very passionate about saving Cayman. But obviously right now, it feels like it is a lot of hopelessness amongst us young Caymanians because we have the solutions, we're proposing them, but they're not being undertaken. So there's a lot of sadness, a lot of what we call eco-anxiety and eco-depression around these issues. And I just feel like people really need to do their research and their due diligence. We have to do better. And I agree with a lot of the comments. Start calling your local MPs and asking them what is their answer. And on top of that, I want to give two shout outs. One to Sustainable Cayman because they've given their proposal on how to deal with the East-West Arterial Road. So please go look at that. That is an amazing group of young people and young Caymanian ambassadors that have taken the time to do research that is actually very good and it makes a lot of sense. So please go and read about all the things that they've been doing, but also look at the East-West Arterial Road. And number two, there is now Don't Pave Cayman has a petition. So if you want to exercise your democratic right, go ahead and sign the petition. Sign the petition. I know obviously it's difficult for civil servants and such to do that, but and other Caymanian or even
I think that, to be clear, I don't think civil servants are prohibited from signing petitions. There would be other things like maybe protests and stuff that they can't participate in those.
that either way, please just exercise your democratic right. It's what is going to make this country a better place at this point.
Thank you, caller.
That's
And to that caller's point, young people, anytime they do, whether it's youth parliament or all these other things, they have expressed a real concern, like she said, to the point where some of them are depressed about their future. They have expressed a real concern about where Cayman is going. Some of you might have noticed that on your screen. Of course, you guys know that we believe in keeping things live and direct as they're happening. So this is the laying in state of Mr. Donovan Ebanks. We're bringing it live from Parliament now. Oops, my apologies. Oh, my apologies. Sorry. All that time I was talking and didn't realize that I muted myself. Frank, I was saying to you, thank you so much for coming on the program today. We appreciate your contribution.
The lying in state will
And, we again
take place
welcome
until 1
all
p.m.
sides
today.
of this discussion to feel free to contact us.
Where current
We can
and
have a
past
proper
members of
roundtable
Parliament, as
discussion,
well
but again,
as Mr.
for whatever
Ebanks' family,
reason, the
friends,
other side
and the public will
is
pay their last
is missing in
respect.
action. We await your emails, your correspondence. Everybody in Cayman pretty much knows how to reach out to me. And Frank, thank you very, very much today.
Thank you very much for having me, Sandy. If we don't stand
Why
together,
can I not hear Frank? Hold on 1 second now. Oh boy. What have I done? Hold on, Frank. Did I change anything? I thought I left everything as is. Okay, it's weird. I can't hear Frank. Can you guys hear Frank?
I can hear you. I can hear you, but I guess you're not hearing me.
You guys can hear him, but I can't hear him. Oh gosh, this just got so bizarre. Hold on, Frank. Strange. Yeah, they can hear you, Frank. So I guess go ahead and give your thanks. I can't hear you for some strange reason. I'm gonna try.
I just wanted to say I'll send you a message, but I just wanted to thank you for giving me the privilege of being on your show. I hope that as this moves forward, that more people will become involved, and maybe we can do this again when we have more information and we would be able to address all of the specifics of what these changes actually are. But again, thank you very much for having me on the show.
All right, I can't hear Frank for some reason, so give me a quick second. But Frank, everybody else can hear you, so thank you so much. I'm gonna try to see if I can maybe do a refresh on my end and figure out why my audio is gone.
Have a great day, everybody, and just be safe on these wet roads. That's all I can say.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right, let me just hold on a second. Don't call when I'm trying to figure out something technical. All right, let me try to. I didn't actually touch anything in terms of audio. I was just having a quick look to see what was going on, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't hear anybody else. Hold on. Okay, so this is wrong. This should be there. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of Okay, let me see now if I don't know that there's still audio in this video because I think there might not be, but let me just double check it. Video. Again, folks, we bring it in live, the laying in state with Mr. Donovan Ebanks, and we can see his family members are now there with the body as they're laying in state. So as he's laying in state, my apologies. So very touching moment. Obviously, he will be there today. You can stop by, pay your respects to his family, as well as sign the condolences book, which will be at both the government building, Parliament, and there's one in Cayman Brac as well. Let me just see. I'm assuming there's no audio for this part. I'm just going to confirm that I believe that there's no audio at this particular time, but there was audio earlier. So thankfully, our radio folks could there is no audio coming from that feed at this time. So I'm just going to mute it because I think what is coming through is just a little bit of like the static feedback. So if I mute it, you shouldn't hear that either. So Mr. Alden made some comments as Speaker of the House, made some opening remarks and some comments a bit earlier in relation to this. So it's a wonderful opportunity to acknowledge Mr. Donovan Ebanks, the first Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, who made some amazing contributions to this country. And of course, the Speaker, noted what some of those contributions were, and why he is being given the state recognition today as well. So it's a national peer, Mr. Donovan Ebanks, today. He passed away on June the 2nd, on Sunday, June the 2nd. And you could have all of the books again available for signage. And the actual laying in state now is happening today from 10 a.m. So just recently, that's going to be held at the Clifton Hunter High School Auditorium on Saturday. That is tomorrow, June the 22nd at 3 p.m. Books will be placed at the Government Admin Building, the House of Parliament, the District Administration Building in Cayman Brac, and in Northside at the Post Office, as well as virtually and at BoddenFuneralServices.com. All right. Okay, so again, thank you to Mr. Frank. My apologies that I couldn't hear him towards the end there, but I think I'm hearing stuff now. Yeah, normally we have certain things muted in the background. There's a lot of, let me just say that there's a whole lot of things in the volume mixture that are going on. So normally I have, for example, WhatsApp, I keep that muted. Although you guys are still somehow messaging on WhatsApp. Not even sure how that's happening. Okay, should be muted, but I'm still hearing the messages come through the computers. Speakers. So I mute a lot of the apps that give like notifications and stuff so that you guys are not hearing those during the show. So should be muted. All right, so we see now that Mr. Alden McLaughlin, Sir Alden McLaughlin, Speaker of the House, is actually signing the condolence book. John LaRue says, who's the big man with the white gloves? I didn't pay any attention to that, but it's probably Mr. Kim Evans. I mean, he's normally there for these events. I can't say specifically, so you might have to let me see. When it's back on him again, let me know, John, and see if I can help identify him. So Speaker of the House having a sign-in there of the book at this time. I'm enjoying a nice homemade smoothie this morning. Big shout out to Miss Stacy. All fruit smoothie. Oh my God, it is so delicious. Oh yes, that's Pastor. Yes. He is, oh gosh, somebody remind me of his official title in Parliament. Where's protocol people? Can y'all remind me of what his title is? Okay. All right, so Sergeant of Arms, that could be correct. Yes, thank you, Sergeant at Arms. So he is the Sergeant at Arms there. So thank you. And he's been in that position, I think, for quite some time. Okay, Sergeant of Arms, yes. Are coming out around 11 a.m.? Are you? All right, so very good. Yep, so he makes sure that everything's in order. Who's that signing it right now? Sorry, I wasn't looking. I'm just seeing the back of his head. Elderly gentleman. I can't quite make out who that is. Does anybody know? Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Stephen, Kevin. So let's do a weather update. And again, the Cayman Islands Humane Society begging for people to please, please, please come forward. We'll put up something on social here shortly. Here's your 10 a.m. Weather update as well. I'm just trying to make out who that is. Couldn't quite see. Anybody could see who that is. All right. The Cayman Islands National Weather Service advises that cloudiness and showers will continue for the Cayman Islands throughout today, Friday, and due to tropical wave passing through the Northwest Caribbean, rainfall estimates suggest 0.5 to 1 inch. Somebody said that was James Ryan. Thank you so much.
Showers will continue.
Good morning, caller.
Friday,
You got to turn that radio down when you call in.
Yeah, good morning, Sandy. That
Good
that
morning.
gentleman that was signed then was the gentleman that came from that Donna took the job over from. He was in Donna's job before Donna.
Oh, so he was his predecessor.
Yeah, he was.
Someone said that's Mr. James Ryan. Mr. Ryan. Okay. Thank you so
That's
much. Thanks very much. Oh yes. Okay. All right. So we have again persons signing, different community members signing the condolence book. Okay. Yes, somebody else says it looks like it's James Ryan. So they don't have any audio. So I've just muted it because what comes through is a little bit of static. So he used to be head of the civil service before Mr. Donnie. So makes total sense why he would be one of the first ones. Someone says the best cure for the traffic chaos is to retract. Less people imported is the cure. Mr. Ryan was head of the civil service from 1994 to 2004. Okay, someone has a broken down vehicle roundabout, and this person says it was there from 6:30 this morning, and it's still there, and it's very unsafe. So take your time, folks. As you're traversing the roadways today, the last thing you need is in this rainy weather is to have an accident. I'm going to try to stay home. I don't even think I'm going out anywhere. Again, this is another, I've been having so many Netflix and chill days recently that I tell you what, that might have been some, instead of Netflix and chill, it would have been some baby making weather. But we're not about that life at my age, so sorry. Making weather. All right. Here's your latest weather update. Again, we're going to post it up on social media for everyone. So another rainy weekend, honey chill. All I can tell you is OMG. We've been getting it. Yay. Okay. El Rey, whatever happened with the proposed deal with DART and a new location for the Humane Society? It's a good question. I don't know. Like most projects, the average time for deployment of a project on this island seems to be 15 to 20 years before you can get anything done. I can't remember where that was left off. There was some issue with the details of the land or something, as I recall. So we can certainly ask, but I think part of the problem is they need more than just the land, right? They need a way to build it. So it's not just about somebody leasing them or peppercorning the land or whatever. They need money to actually build the facility. Good morning, caller.
Sandy?
Yes, hi.
Hi, it's me again.
Hello.
I need a favor.
Yes.
I'm seeing some of the comments on the Facebook page, right? And I would like to plead my case to all the comments and stuff like that, but I can't because you got me blocked. You had me blocked for over 3 years. Now you can't give me a little blind.
I don't even know who this is. I
promise I'll be nice. I promise I'll be nice.
I don't even know who you are. So
Mr. G3, I don't want to say what the 3G means.
Oh!
I promise I'll be nice, man. As far as my comments when you had blocked me and everything, I mean, my comments were PG compared to some of the comments that I see that people be putting out there.
Well,
now, and you had me blocked.
Well, I don't remember what you were blocked for, but normally people.
You said that you said that my comments were disgusting, but they were all in PG. They were all in good fun and in PG.
Normally people don't get.
Some of the comments.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. Normally people don't get blocked for disgusting comments unless you totally go over the board. So,
well, I mean, you know,
and here's the problem as well: is you normally get blocked for life. The blocking is
I know. Was easy PG fun. I mean, I did not swear blatantly.
Well, I mean, my poor 50-year-old brain wouldn't remember all those details. That's the one you said this morning. I still didn't know who you were. Somebody thought that you were.
You could bring up my comments so you could read through them, so I could plead my case.
Somebody thought you were Hunter for a minute there, and I was like, that doesn't sound like Hunter.
No, I'm not Hunter. I'm not Hunter.
Oh Lord. Well, if we start making exceptions for people in the block list, I'm not sure what the point of the block list would be.
No, but I mean, like, I didn't really say anything that bad for you to block me.
Well,
you said it. You said it was disgusting.
Someone said, "Oh, you're Jonathan." So somebody said, somebody else remembers.
Yes,
they said you blocked
Jonathan.
him because he was repeatedly rude and disrespectful with comments when you had guests on, and very combative.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to have a little combativeness as far as a second opinion, because, like, you know, if everybody's just agreeing with you all the time,
nobody agrees with me all the time.
I don't want to say it's not a real.
I mean,
show.
listen, I didn't even remember who you were, to be honest.
I
It's
know,
been so long. I guess
I stayed out of sight and out of mind for a while for a reason, but I need to plead my case for my bridge and thing like that, man. I want to reply to the comments and with everybody that's disagreeing and why I say it would be a better benefit towards the country.
Let me explain something to you. To unblock someone actually requires a lot of effort, because we have a lot of people blocked, mostly spammers, in fact, on Facebook. So it's a very long, extensive list that we'd have to go through and try to find you. There's no way to search a list. So
oh, come on. All you gotta do is type in my name, Jonathan Powell. And
no, that's not how it works for pages. You actually have to go into a certain section. You see the block list and you have to find the individual to unblock. Somebody else says he was disrespectful to guests. Oh.
No, I wasn't. I was making remarks as far as like answering questions.
You know, Auntie don't like disrespectful people.
But again, in PG, they were none of them. No cuss words. They were all in PG fun.
I don't know.
PG-13, I have to say PG-13. They weren't child mean. They were all PG-13 fun. I think that's fair enough. I didn't cuss. I didn't use foul language as far as my comments. And then as far as my comments, if you don't like them, don't read them. You know, but you can still and make the people still reply on my thoughts at least. Hello?
Okay, thanks. All right. Sorry, I was just getting overseas call. So, all right.
So yeah, I'm just trying to plead my case. I
think people heard you this morning. I don't know how much pleading you need to do, because I think people heard you, but I mean,
because I'm seeing like a lot of remarks. They're saying, "Oh, I want to destroy the North Sound and all that kind of stuff." That's not true, because there are a lot of eco-friendly ways of building this bridge, as far as putting in the footings and all that kind of stuff. If people look up copper dams and how they would build the footings for the bridge and everything, I got a whole lot of remarks on as far as what people are telling me or saying on the page. You know what I mean? I can't reply to it. You know what I mean? And I promise, I never cussed or anything like that, and I'll be PG-13 as far as replying. So
like I said, it's not that easy.
If you can't do it today, I understand. But
it's not quite as easy.
Give me a little chance. At least give me a little chance, because I like to see my case, man.
I'll think about it.
Oh, come on, Sandy.
I said I'll think about it.
Don't work on Cayman time when you think about it, man. Go on Florida time.
I will think about it.
Come on, sweetie. Come on, baby. Don't be sweet talk you, man.
That's sweet talking. Don't work on me, honey child. That don't work on me.
Don't let me sweet talk you, man.
No.
I could talk like the yard man too, you know.
That definitely not gonna work. I already got one. Thanks. Don't need another one.
Anyhow, man. So let me plead my case. Go through the names and let me plead my case, please. And I promise I'll be nice. I promise.
Well, I can think about it. All right.
Please.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, somebody, Siobhan is not feeling the pleading at all. She says, keep him blocked. What's the whole purpose of a block list, Sandy? If you're going to be unblocking and whatever. She's like, don't forgive him. Hunter is all for forgiveness. He says he's begging for forgiveness. I think he served his time and learned his lesson. Well, it certainly is a lesson for all of you to behave yourselves in the first instance. But some people think it's better to commit the sin and then try to beg for forgiveness afterwards. That doesn't normally work well with me, I hate to tell you. But yeah, we've got a block list for a reason. But honestly, it's not that easy to unblock people once you're on the block list, because I literally have to scroll through of the Facebook, finding things on Facebook pages, a real pain in the rear end. And definitely that is one of them. Followers and public content. Let me see. Where's the block list? Age restrictions, country restrictions. I don't think we have any country restriction. We should restrict countries though. Now that I'm thinking about it. All these scammers in Africa and whatever. Ooh, I'm going to add some countries because we don't, sorry, Africa, and you know who y'all are. We don't need y'all trying to scammers page and scammer people. That's why they be jumping in the comment section. Let me see. I don't even know where's the, oh, here it is. Blocking. Blocked users. We can block pages too. That's what Compass has me blocked. It's a long list. Like I said, most of them are scammers. But you can't, it's not that easy to unblock people. I'm telling you, it really isn't. It's a long, long list. And it requires me doing all sorts of stuff. Like I have to keep scrolling for days. And depending on, I don't know if it's in, I don't really know what order it's in. This is the list. No idea what order it's in. But, you know, I'd be scrolling for days. And then what's his Facebook name? Like you need, some people have all these weird Facebook names. Look how long I'm still scrolling. But 90% or more of these people are just scammers. So they comment and we have to block them because they're trying to sell you something or get you to click on a link. So we're having to protect you from you see, the list just goes on and on and on. And I ain't got all day to be getting, checking this list. That's why I tell y'all, just behave yourselves so that I don't have to block you in the first place. El Rey says, sounds like Johnny Boy putting a solid case forward to continue his block. Oh, no. Good morning, caller. Peace now.
All you gotta do is go to that search page and type in my name, Jonathan Powell. Boom.
That's
done.
not how it's gonna work if you're blocked. I can't see you. So that's not how blocked works with pages.
Oh, come on. Boy, I thought you were a computer genius. Make your
it doesn't have anything to do with being a computer genius. It's how Facebook pages work.
Oh,
and
Sandy,
Facebook pages, if you're blocked, you can't search for a person that's blocked.
You had me in prison for almost 4 years.
Well, I mean, I'd forgotten all about you, so I don't know how long it's been, but
if you look up my history and you see, and if you could see even what I said for me to get blocked, I didn't say anything bad or vulgar, or all within PG fun. It wasn't bad words like to the point of when I'm talking serious private parts. You know what I'm saying? Or any other disgusting manner.
All right, my dear, leave it. I told you, leave it with me.
I use Caribbean code words for that.
Miss Joy Sam says forgiveness is good, and I agree, but that don't mean that you're gonna forget. I mean, I forgot actually.
I know, but oh, come on, Sandy. And like I chase you down on the road. Come on, give me a break. You know, give me a little break. I mean, like I say, it was all out of fun. PG-13 fun. You know, we adults here.
Now everybody else is saying, well, this other person should get unblocked too if he gets unblocked.
Oh, you really?
All right, my dear. I told you I would think about it. Don't pressure, Auntie. Don't like pressure from men.
Well, I'm just giving you a little shortcut. All you gotta do is go to the search bar and type in my name.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Again, that's not how that list works. You can't type in the name. Once you block somebody, you can't find them like that. Anywho, most of these people are not Caymanians or anything. They're just annoying spammers. People have to be willing to do what is necessary, but thus far, most are not. Somebody says he really sounds like Hunter. Not really. Does he ever Cayman Black connections? I don't think he really sounds like Hunter. You know who sounds like Hunter sometimes that has confused me when they call in? Is Mr. Rivers there, young Mr. Rivers. Sometimes he confuses me. All the people on the block list calling in now, Alejandro, don't y'all be pushing it because you notice I haven't blocked you from calling yet. Hello?
Sandy, I believe I deserve a little unblock too, you know. Come on, be real, man. I not doing nothing to harm nobody. I'm not stabbing no one, and I'm not trying to steal from no one. If anything, I try and give what I can give, you know. But other than that, I'm not trying to harm no one. I should get in that unblock list. You know, Sandy, I think I saw my name in that little scroll that you had, not that hard. I like in the top 20.
Oh, you were at the top?
Yeah, it's somewhere there. You know, I see my name there somewhere like Alejandro Dominguez, E-Bike, something like that.
You saw it?
Check it out.
Really?
Check it out. Check it out again. It's right there. Let me watch it with you. Yo, Sandy, it's not that hard, man. Come on. I am a Caymanian that is passionate about the environment. I smoke my ganja, but it never harm no one. Come on now.
Well, it wasn't about that, you know. Like I tell you, I ain't got a problem with you smoking. That's a matter for you. That's a personal choice. But the issue was you knew the rule, you keep pushing the limits, and you kept disrespecting.
Forgive me for I know not what I do.
Alejandro, listen to me now. Between me and you, let's get serious. If I hadn't forgiven you, you wouldn't be able to pick up the phone and call. So I'm not holding any malice or any grudge or anything like that. But at the same time, the rules are the rules. Would I be a good auntie if I let all of you and treating you like, you know, that's what's wrong with Cayman now with kids. We make them break the rules and then like nothing matters.
Here we treat these same people that ask for forgiveness in the courts. I don't know why it is that we can't treat the same Caymanian.
Oh, they shouldn't be getting no free. Listen. When they go to court,
all right. Well, I am not.
And
like
they say
them.
go to jail. I'm all for making them serve their full time. They need to do what the court says.
If I guilty for anything, you know, I served my time already. I believe. Look here, I've been contributing.
But I did say it was a permanent block, didn't I?
Constantly. Well, let's look back in that scroll, please. Go inside that little scroll. Look here, just open that little scroll. Easy, Blitz. It's easy. It's very easy. Look here, man. Just please, Sandy. I not even that type of person to beg a woman for anything. Come on now.
I hear you there.
Look here.
First woman Alejandro's ever begging in his life. Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? You should feel a little special for that. But I should feel also a little humiliated a little bit for saying something like this. But just do it for the people. At least for me.
Lord Jesus. Alejandro, I'm gonna think about it.
No, don't think too hard, Sandy. It's gonna make you have a headache. We literally just had a little segment about migraine. Don't make it bust your head too much. It's simple. It is very simple. And I'm a young Caymanian that's willing to stand up for all you guys, as long as you just give me a chance. Look here, beg for forgiveness right now. I don't even asking permission no more.
All right. I'll think about it.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna hurt no one.
All right.
All right.
I don't know. Some people saying to keep him blocked. El Rey says, Marcia says, put up a vote. El Rey says, on a can't hear, on a feel. Damon says, break the block. Michael says, no, hang up and block this one number, please. Dion says, oh, he's being sincere. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Miss Sandy. How you doing? It's Hunter.
Hello, Hunter.
Yeah, I just wanted to call and say, you know, please free up my boys. They're assets to the community, you know. They're actually willing.
My Lord.
No, really and truly, they're willing to stand up. They're willing to speak out. They're sharing their opinion. They're contributing to the discussion.
I mean, I've had conversations with both Jonathan.
Siobhan says, if you unblock, I am out, because you got a block list for a reason. You can't just say unblock people and then you can't just say you block people and then unblock. So Siobhan is taking a very firm stance.
I understand what Alejandro said it as well. He's a Caymanian as well. So his input.
So you think on this program you get a pass because you're a Caymanian? I'm just saying.
No. I would say I'm on. I mean, sometimes I might be on the verge of being blocked too. But it just their voice matters. Their voice matters. You might.
Well, that is why you must think about it. You listen. This is my whole point. When someone tells you don't do X because if you do X, this is going to be the consequences. Yeah. Why are you doing X?
I agree. And
right?
You know, it's just
I mean, that was the bottom line. It wasn't even about, yes, we know he's a little bit obsessed with the ganja and the marijuana, and that's why people need a break. People like Sandy, we're sick and tired of hearing this discussion every single day, please. And I gave warnings in advance, and I saw him kept pushing the envelope, and I'm like, y'all need to stop, because one auntie do something, there's no turning back. What kind of auntie would I be if I let y'all get away with foolishness all the time?
And and they need to understand that it is your program. So what you say goes, right? And just like jail, just like Northwood Prison.
When you go, the judge not gonna be like, "Oh, you're in jail crying. I'm gonna let you out."
You serve your time. And
yeah, but I did say in advance that this was a permanent block.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, for the benefit of the show.
Well, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who don't want him back because they're like their sensibilities get disturbed.
But what input do those people have to your show? Like Alejandro and John.
Well, they're listeners to the program just like you, honey child. This person says, Sandy, don't unblock him. Please leave those ignorant men blocked. This person says, "Sus Christ." They were given
man, because it's election season. We need to have people who have what we would call the unpopular opinion. We need to get people to wake up.
It wasn't really about that.
Pardon?
All right, honey child, 10:30.
Let me say one thing, right? I have
a blessed weekend. We're gonna probably turn up a little bit. Hunter, you ready to turn up? It's Friday.
Let's turn up, Miss Sandy. Why not?
Why not? He says.
This is what needs to happen, We've been talking about it on the radio.
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm disconnected from the radio before I say okay to that.
Yeah, well, they were cutting me off earlier too, so I don't know what that was.
Let me see. Where's the radio? Oh, there it is. All right, radio. Oh, it's already cut off. I don't know. Something was wrong with the radio feed today. It's all kind of jacked up. Don't forget to vote in the poll, folks. The poll is live now.
Get a refund.
Sorry?
I said you need to call the radio and get a refund. They had half your show cut off today.
They're blaming it on the internet. That's logic. So I don't know if logic is going to give me a refund or not, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, right? For example, Alejandro. I've heard Alejandro express his opinions on the show. I've reached out to Alejandro, and me and him we've actually become quite good friends.
Okay.
Sometimes his opinion I might not agree with everything he says, but he's very passionate, and even the topics that he's more passionate about aren't the popular topics, but a lot of the times the arguments that he's making actually have a lot of sense behind them, so again, like I say, if it wasn't for me reaching out to Alejandro and Alejandro being so open about his opinion, there would, because no one else is talking about these things.
What do you mean nobody else? I wouldn't go that far, Hunter. I would say lots of people are talking.
Well, lots of people may be talking, but the more contribution we get, the better we can make decisions. Let's put it that way. It's election season. Where are the politicians when we need them the most? Where are the ones that are going to be running in the next election when we should be hearing from them? We're almost in it for ourselves. So I think, this is a time where Cayman really need to come together, and we, the people, need to start dictating what our future is going to be like. So let's kind of leave the politicians and the candidates out of it, and let's start seeing between ourselves, what is it that we truly want, and what do we have to do in order to get what we truly want in this country? And it requires people like Alejandro and Jonathan. And sometimes the show will be quite quiet, and we need to spark some conversation, Miss Sandra. You know it, and I know it. So
I don't know it. I don't actually know what you're talking about. We always have very engaged audience over here, so I don't know what you mean.
Okay, well,
but
just stick to a vote.
But like I said, it's your opinion.
Yeah, it's my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's all that matters.
Just like everyone has a butthole, everybody has an opinion, honey chill. All right. Thank you.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Annie says, can we get back to the murder trial now? I'm tired of this block topic now. Let's move on. Okay, listen. The position is very, very clear. Oh, God, I feel like I need a bathroom break today. Y'all realize that I'm here first thing in the morning, drinking water and this lovely, oh my gosh, this, what's in this, Miss Stacy? It's got mango, all kind of fruits. It's delicious. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that I bought that nice, beautiful, overpriced blender because Miss Stacy's the only one who'll be using it to make fresh smoothies. And she made this smoothie yesterday. At first, I was just going to take a sip of it when Gigi's like, Mom, try this. She got Gigi working for $1 a day. So the two of them whipped up the smoothie. And I took a sip and I was like, this smoothie is delicious. I'll be taking this with me. Thank you very much. To court yesterday. Anywho, Alejandro called again. Alejandro, you're wearing out your welcome now. Hello. Yes.
Yeah, for entertainment purposes only, Bliss. Because you see, I'm a registered voter, and you see, if I'm canceled from one of the public engagements, I am feeling left out. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I understand you accept my calls and things, but you see a lot of my comments. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of person to hide behind an anonymous account. Just to let you know, I want everyone to know that, yeah, this is me that's commenting. I don't want to be like, oh, make a little fake account. I see some people on the comment sections. Yeah, well, you don't just make a fake account. Listen, when you're a fake person, your opinions are invalid. It's simple as that. I'm a registered voter and I want to respect that. I want to literally be respected as well, just like everyone else. But I'm not here cutting anybody's throat, telling them get off the phone, do this and do that because you're talking stupidness. You know, I'm not that type of person, Sandy. I don't know what people narrate themselves thinking like this is me. So I understand there's 80,000 people on this island, and that's 80,000 different opinions about Alejandro Dominguez. But that's not valid. They don't know who I am. They don't, literally nobody know who I was until I came on CMR. It's simple as that.
Yes.
No joke. Nobody knew who Alejandro Dominguez was until I came on CMR. They didn't even know who my family is. They don't know where I came from. I'm a born-bred Caymanian. I got a child here. And then when I'm engaged on your show because you're talking about important information, you don't think I want to be listened to as well?
But how do you, someone is asking how you watch the show. Someone just said, how is Alejandro blocked and yet able to watch the show?
Because I got YouTube.
That's what I figured.
Because I got YouTube. These people, look here, these people, I'm watching you on TV right now because I can't even log in on my own profile. I got to use my girlfriend profile or something just so that I could watch you on CMR so I can listen into it because the radio cut.
Yeah, the little radio problem. Hopefully the internet gets sorted out.
How important is that for me on this island to be engaged as a Caymanian registered voter on this island? And then I got to be kicked out by some no good people that give you an opinion that I should be stick. Look here, those people don't even call in to engage on your show. I don't hear nothing about them.
But
who are they? You want to read up this conversation? Man, listen, these people are dumb. They just run into a rabbit hole. You know why? Because they'll sit down and make these developers dig a hole into their backyards too. And keep hammering away until Monday to Sunday. Right straight down until next Monday again.
Alejandro, calm yourself down a little bit now.
previous thought though, Sandy. I just trying to express myself with that. I don't like what I had to say.
But that's not why you were blocked, though. Let's try
that's
to.
a reaction. Oh, Sandy, that's a reaction.
Let's
If
try
I
to get.
constantly talk about the environment, look here, if I constantly talk about the environment, you can block me too.
Oh, you're kind of losing the forest for the trees now.
Sandy, it's not losing the forest for the trees, because if I was going directly for the trees, the ganja conversation would have continued. I stopped that. I literally give up on you guys with that topic. I don't even care about that topic no more with you guys. Honestly speaking, I'm here just like trying to help betterment my island. I have a daughter coming up, and they're overdevelopment. I hear the NCC this morning, all this type of thing. We need to be more engaged. More engaged. You see all those people calling Miss Wendy a tree hugger and all those things. I thank God that she knows what they're doing is hugging pencils and office supplies. That's all they're good for. I kid you not. These people, they have people that are continuously unengaged on our island, and all they want to do is comment, and all they want to do is castigate. And listen to me, as long as we got people out here that are blocked because of some stupid opinion that someone else have, listen, we not have no democracy on this island. I don't believe in democracy on this island as long as Alejandro Dominguez stays blocked on CMR. I don't believe in it. Because all I gotta do is just say the most unpopular thing, and people don't want to hear me. Listen, stick with your dictatorship, stick with totalitarianism, stick with all these politicians that want bow down to foreign investors, these Caymanian politicians. Stick with it, man. I just trying to do. That's my 5 minutes. And I still appreciate that you answers my call.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. But I still would like to be enjoying the Facebook community because I don't like watching and listening without engagement.
All right. Thank you very much.
Simple as that.
Somebody said some of your comments. Tell me when Alejandro is done. I'll tune back in. You were kicked out for being disrespectful. Another person says Alejandro has a really good input. Honestly, I vote to free Alejandro. At least give him a time shift for the first time. Say 6 months first time, forever for the second offense. Well, that wasn't a rule that we set in the beginning. Another person says he's reminding us why he was blocked. Another person says I can't with him. This person says tell Hunter to go over to Radio Moscow. Alejandro can go with him. Alejandro is stiff, raving mad. Hunter is also batshit crazy. Cut his ass off. I swear to God, I did not make this up. This is what you guys are saying. Woo, y'all are crazy. All y'all crazy, if you ask me. Next topic, please, says this viewer, this listener. We can't end Friday's show like this. Next topic, please. Hot mess. This person says he engages on Radio Cayman, though. Sterling entertains him. The power of CMR. Lord Jehovah. This person says, you see how you changed about this outlet, though? Seriously, I lost that part. Time will tell. You see how you changed a bit his outlet, though? Seriously. I'm not sure I get that comment. Hello, caller.
Hello, good morning, Sandra.
Good morning.
Sandra, if you'll give me the opportunity, I'd like to discuss a couple of points regarding, the very important and thankful to have them on, Miss Wendy and Mr. Rolston earlier this morning.
Is this the other Jonathan?
This is the other Jonathan. This is Jonathan Adam.
Okay. Oh, sometimes the voices all begin to sound the same.
Yes, ma'am.
You sound a little bit different today as well. All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Cayman Islands. Sandra, I think that's something that needs to be discussed if we're going to really try to find a positive way forward for Cayman. Not only regarding the developer cabal and cartel, but just the general public and their perceptions of the National Conservation Act, the NCC itself, so on and so forth. There is a common and justified and valid refrain, which I, in a lot of ways, do agree with. Me, even being somebody who does agree with the NCA, does agree with, the justified position that the DOE should have in being part of decision-making processes here in Cayman, is the level of hypocrisy that does actually really exist. And if we don't look at it straight in the face, then I don't think we're going to be able to move forward in a good way if we don't just look everything point blank in the face. And the hypocrisy is this, and it's multifold, but if we're looking at, the demographics of Cayman, the migration of Caymanians out of the western side of the island, out of necessity, because we have had this huge influx where we are the country that has seen our population increase more in size, more than any other timeline being taken into account than any other. All right. So we now have a situation where we have a large group of people, and there's a lot of Caymanians who have environmental sustainability and consciousness in their heart, in their soul, and in their mind. That's fact, right? But we also have a lot of people who in Cayman now who have their mansions built on top of the recently desecrated carcasses of viable mangrove ecosystems, whether that be in South Sound, whether that be in the western side of North Sound, X, Y, and Z, who are now in a very conceited manner trying to stop the Caymanian population and others from moving and getting their own foothold, their homes, X, Y, and Z, in the Cayman Islands. And we also have the reality that the largest destruction of the mangroves has been for those developments. Okay, so we need to really look at that level of hypocrisy, which does exist, because we do have people here in Cayman who saying to everybody, yes, we need to do all of these things to protect our natural environment, but yet still their very place and position in Cayman is right on top of that desecration itself. We speak of, the argument that has been going forward, has been going on for far too long about the east-west arterial. We have folks who are discussing about the need for a public transportation system before anything else. Well, yes, of course, we need a public transportation system that we in the Cayman Islands, everybody, can rely on. But the reality is that the Mack truck drivers who are going directly to the developments on the western side of the island in order to facilitate these same developments, they're not going to be able to get on a bus. Okay? Neither are the vast majority of those who work in the service industry in what we have as a middle class population who live in the eastern districts going to be able to put all of their stuff on a bus or anything else and get to the major population center, which is the western side of Grand Cayman. Right? I think we all need to just start looking at all of these things holistically, not think that one thing is going to be a cure-all, and not use the fact that one thing is not going to be a cure-all as a way to push against one of the factors, which is a necessary solution. Moving forward in Cayman, yes, we need a public transportation system. Whether it be the taxi cartel who stands in the way of that, that needs to be removed. Whether it be the need for vehicular overpasses at every bottleneck junction, we need to be looking at that. So we need to be looking at everything from an overall perspective, because unless we are going to say that we are going to stop all immigration into the Cayman Islands, we have a reality which we as a country have no choice but to contend with.
Yeah, I saw some people suggesting that, and I think that that's probably the least realistic expectation. I mean, first of all, there are a lot of Caymanians who benefit the work permit holders that are here, not just business owners, but those of you who have rental properties down to the very hut in the back of your yard that you be trying to rent people that might not be fit for human habitation, you're still making money off of people who are here because of the work permit system. So there will be a trickle down effect. The population has grown to a certain size now. I'm all this approach of saying, oh, just send people home, pull work permits, don't approve any further work permits. I think we need to, we need to think about the implications that will have on every single person. And it is interesting that sometimes people who say that are the beneficiaries of, like I said, people renting and purchasing their properties or homes, buying their goods in small shops and their services and whatever. So there's this huge implication, but that doesn't mean that we can't slowly put our foot on the brakes, because the speed at which we have been doing this is what appears to me, in my humble opinion, too fast. It's too much, too soon, too fast, and we need to slow things down. And the environment has to matter. We can't continue this pace of development and talk about the fact that the environment doesn't matter. Now, somebody said to me that they're waiting to see Kenneth's position on this, that, he's been awfully quiet. And I do know, to his credit, that he is traveling. So he is in New York with the folks there for the Caribbean Week or whatever it is that they're doing in New York. But someone has said, normally, Sandy, he, finds the time to call into the program, because in his manifesto, and they actually sent me a copy of his manifesto, he put on like page 1 or 3 or something that the environment mattered to him. So they now want to see where he stands on these proposed amendment under the UPM government.
Political experience, Sandra. That's what most of it is always going to be about.
If we could get them on record to hear where they stand, that would be useful. I mean, the only person that we can speculate about thus far is sorry, what's her name again? Kathy, because Kathy has taken a position. Well, we can speculate about her because yesterday she posted something on her social media.
I'm not going to look at a meme.
Because people just need to listen. If you don't stand for it, or if you stand for it, whatever your position is, just come out and say so.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with you 100%. Cayman has been run in a gold rush mentality attitude for the last 2-3 decades now. These lack of infrastructural issues, anybody with good sense could see this coming down the pike 25, 30 years ago. Okay? There are certain people in the Cayman Islands, part of the electorate, not part of the electorate. And by the way, the real influence that we have here in Cayman is really not being a part of the electorate. It's how much money you have to throw around to get what you want. That's the reality that we have to deal with. Now, if Cayman is willing and able to actually contend with these realities, the realities that I pointed to at the beginning of this conversation, and do what is necessary to put in checks and balances to staunch undue and illegitimate influences over the decision-making process, or at least begin to, or at least recognize the issue itself, which people have no choice in nowadays to become aware of. But what are we willing to actually do to hold accountable and hold culpable not only those within who are at the head of our decision-making processes, but also those who have used their financial largesse to get what they want at the expense of all and sundry. Thus far, neither group has in any real or consequential way been held accountable, Sandra. So if we're going to really look to move forward in a positive way, we need to have some paradigm shifts in the way our electoral system goes, in the way our system of democracy is administered. We need transparency to be demanded, not asked for. We need criminal consequences for those who do not deliver that transparency, regardless of who they are, regardless of what side of these divides they may stand on. We need to have that. The populace needs to know what is happening at all times. And this most recent controversy is indicative of the issue itself. What are we going to do to fix that We need to get to the root of the problems.
Leave us there. Thank you very much. Lots of food for
Have a
thought.
great day. Bye now.
9362626. We're in a little bit over time. Cassius says we have a bunch of rich environmentalists whose parents got fat off of Cayman development, now wanting to tell Caymanians that their land cannot be touched. Hypocrisy at its finest. So I think that, Cassius, I'm not sure that I've heard anybody say that people's land can't be touched. They're saying that if you fall into a very small spectrum of, requiring an EIA, which again, when we look at the statistical information that is available, is beyond a small percentage. Some 36% of the total number of planning percent ever were even subjected to a Section 41 consultation response. 9 of those, which is 0.23%, had planning. Those were the ones that the number of directed refusals, including duplicate applications. And then 30 is the number of projects formally screened for an EIA. That's 0.77%. So, you have to look at these numbers, Cassius, and somebody says, who's Cassius? I have no clue. But you would have to look at these numbers and ask yourself, of those, because I see you're pushed that, these are Cayman developers. Of those, how many do you actually believe and know for a fact are Cayman developers? Statistically speaking, it would be, I don't know how many Cayman developers we have in Cayman, but statistically speaking, most of them have never, based on these numbers, because most developers have never been subjected to anything to do with the National Conservation Act at all. So these are the numbers, and no one on either side has argued or disputed these numbers. These are factual numbers that can be cross-referenced and checked and cross-checked. So if that is the case, 6, not 6, that's the current number of EIAs, but how many of those are Cayman developers, you think? 13 is how many Caymanian developers? 30, how many Caymanian developers? 9, how many Caymanian developers? The other question that you need to ask yourself is the proposed changes seem to be centered around government, with government projects and crown land doing and not requiring an EIA. That has nothing to do with Cayman developers. We're not stopping Cayman developers at all. And the changes that they would be making, are you saying that it's going to be a free-for-all? Or the alleged changes which, around government power to do things, which could impact things like not just the East-West Arterial, but the port, because that was the big thing with the port, do an EIA and the argument for an EIA. And the organization that was working, I forget what they call themselves now, but that was working overtime to try to get a referendum on the port, they were saying, in any respect, you're going to need an EIA. The government didn't want to do an EIA. So there's a lot of people that feel that this now is all very, very convenient timing for the government to push through this legislation in order to get these government projects pushed through with no oversight whatsoever when it comes to even considering, because the only thing the NCA requires you to do is consider the environment. Is it too much to ask that we consider the environment? Caller?
Good morning, Mom.
Good morning.
I want to ask you a question, right, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
How big is Cayman, Mom? How big it is? Tell me.
How big is Cayman? You mean landmass?
How wide is Cayman? How big is Cayman? Cayman is not the United States or the Philippines or China or none of them places, Mom.
Mm-hmm. All right, 259 kilometers squared.
Okay.
Which is about 102 miles squared.
Okay. Okay, right, Mom. The next question is right. Cayman is not designed to hold the capacity there of what they're looking for, Mom. Cayman cannot hold it. Look at CUC, for example. CUC. You understand? Because Cayman not designed for all of this building and stuff going on. Cayman can't handle it. For the people that come in here and get Cayman papers, and Cayman is not designed for it. That what these politicians need to understand. The people need to understand. You understand? And the road traffic now is a major problem in town. They were building up on Savannah. That not gonna stop it. Building a bridge not gonna stop it. You could build a bridge all you want. That not gonna stop the traffic in town. The major problem is too much people coming to this island getting driver's license. They can't drive. The island just too small for it. These people need to realize and understand that, ma'am. You not see what the UK and the United States doing right now. All the migrants that went across the border, they deporting them right now, left, right, center, ma'am. All people that get paper over there, they just deporting them right now. Check the YouTube, you see for yourself, ma'am. Pure deportation, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, folks.
One more thing,
yes, sir.
How I see it, just you know what happened. You know what happened to the government here, ma'am. The people, the government itself, the politicians themselves, what they're doing, ma'am. They just want to get things done right away. They're not going by the law or what the law states. You understand? They just want, you know what happened. Just leave them alone. Make them do it when they mess up. You just hold them accountable for it, for the mistake that they made.
Okay. Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate it.
Thank you too much.
All right. Have a good weekend. You have another call on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you?
Not bad.
And everyone
dear.
else?
How are you?
Good. Good.
Very good.
I'm way from the shores, being an island. I meet people all the time that have quit here, that used to live here. Foreigners that say it's too commercial. They run from America because of that. Plus, the place is too low for all of those heavy buildings that we're building. And who are we building for? It's been, if you go back a post years ago, I say, who are we building for years ago? And it's even worse now. Not one of our kids could afford nothing that is being built now. And what it has done, it has made inflation gone up on a place like Silver Oaks, for instance. Those $500,000, it's a box, you know? How is our kids going to afford that? And those are just little small common apartments, in other words, compared to what they're building, right? So when they keep jacking up the prices, when that sells for $5, the next one come along going to go to $6, the next one $7. So how does that work? You know, and we have to, Castanas, Caymanians, this is no joke. We need to stop. We need to go, if you got to go to the legislative assembly or whatever they call parliament now, and stand up and demand to be heard.
Let me ask you a question, because you're obviously a Caymanian. Are you saying here today that you're a Caymanian that stands for the environment?
I am. But if I don't stand for it, who is? Or who should? Yeah. Well, listen,
and have you heard anything from your representative about, what their position is?
No, I haven't been here. I caught Matt last week on the weekend. And I haven't seen, just on Saturday.
But I mean, when they want to reach out to us, they post off on social media. They know how to reach us. Are you not concerned that there's radio silence on this?
Well, it is too silent. And I for one, I'm here speaking because I don't care. I want to hear. I want to know. Nobody can help me. I don't care who it is. They can't help me if my island is not safe. I got my kids here, my livelihood. I invested my years of life in this. I might live other places, but let me tell you something. When I get a good sum of money, I come home to my island with my money, because so does other people, right? Because when I'm old, most of the time you come back home. That's where you come to. So that's why my businesses still run here and so forth. And I bring my money. When I bring my money, I put it here. Because when all of your money is taken out of your country, that's what caused a country to be a third world country. Because the money is not circulating in your country or your island. I like to bring my money back home here. I bring products and sell, keep money going and so forth. And I say this all the time. One thing, we might go up against a Jamaican, we cuss them sometime, but they're one that will support our businesses. You understand? They will support us. You see Foster's, you see them. You see my store, you see them. They will buy a car. You know, too much cars have been sold. They've taken it and turned the business. But in other words, I'm saying they will support. Majority the other ones, most nationalities, some of them will wait till the next one going home. Facts I know, save up and send all of their money to buy everything and they brings it back. Right? They minimum. They go to Foster's, Western Union, send home their money, and the other ones fly out and buy everything they want. They don't hardly come into a local store and purchase anything unless it's emergency or unless they need it right away. And this is not right. You know, and we as Caymans need to stop being afraid. We need to speak out regardless to who wants the truth, right? Because nobody that is representing us should be upset if we're speaking the truth, right? And it's benefiting our island or our people. Nobody should be upset because the truth is the truth. So for me, it's all about the truth for me because I have my kids here.
Yes.
I have my mother here that is 92. She don't know nowhere else. She refused to live anywhere else. What happens to them? The kids can't even have a place to play. We got so much people now, they're giving us 1 square foot to build one little apartment on. The kids can't come outside. We have become almost like all the other islands. One time we kids could go out and play. They coop up in the house. These things called mental stress. This causes a lot of what is going on with these kids. It's mental. We got to lock them up. Then we don't know who's next door. We're afraid of them. It's just too much in this little island. You know, it was just made for a certain amount. And this 100,000 and all of this, it's okay for them to say because they're the ones that benefit and not us as a middle class and a poorer people. Those up there can say that because yes, they buy into the equipment, even equipment that you see here. I put it on there. A lot of this equipment that you see coming in, all these big cranes and this and that, enough and okay, man, you know, they're just partnership, and some of them not in partnership, and they're just upfront. So what it does, it blocks Jason and all the rest of us that have heavy equipments and trucks and stuff. It set us down because they're getting back their own money, right? Because they're bringing the equipment. That's the equipment. So they're not paying nobody for that. Yeah. So they're saving. What about us? Why is government allowing them to bring in all of these equipment while we as Caymanian have a lot of the equipment they need, right? They should say, no, you cannot bring in this because, you know, you have to get it locally. People do that in other islands. They have a set amount that foreigners could bring in and a set amount. And it's always more for their own people than it is for a foreigner that's invested. You think they're going to care about us if we start sinking? I can guarantee you. We're going to be here sinking by ourselves. I can guarantee if they even got to take a boat, they're gone. I guarantee you. When 2004 came, I'll never forget Ivan. Some that I had known. I never see one soul. Most of them were gone. And they were laughing at us and posting stuff, right? But as soon as we get back up and the trees got green and everything, they were right back. A lot of them should even come back. The government should have said, listen, you run in time of need, right? No, I'm sorry. I can understand you want to get your kids to safety and you take them out, but then you leave somebody in or you come back and say, you know, this is where my livelihood is. And as a matter of fact, our kids had to stay here. So why yours can't stay here? You know, and this is my 2 takes on it. So I really don't care. I am standing up for my country. This is where I live. Don't care where I got papers or where I gone. It says born in Cayman or Grand Cayman or whatever.
All right, my dear. Thank you very much.
Nothing.
Thank
All
you. I
right, sweetie.
appreciate
Thank you too.
Yes.
And have a great weekend.
Yes,
all.
thank you. Thank you. All right, folks.
Okay.
Yes, it is Friday today. So lots of, conversations to be had for sure around this. We will have more. Boy, this weather is something frightful. A lot of people agreeing with that caller. Jess said, so true, lady. Every word that you're saying, a kaboom. Requested. We're prisoners in our own country, says Miss Brenda. Culture shock. Irvelin says true culture, true caller. Damien says outsourcing projects. She knows what time it is, says Miss Darlene McKenzie. Brenda says, ma'am, your question is your answer, says Miss Brenda. The passports should have been stamped persona non grata. Do not return. Consuela should be alive now, says Debbie. Ooh, honey child, she was a firecracker. Damien says whoever blocks a candidate or political group, whoever backs a candidate or political group needs to declare the name and amount. All right, folks, we got a lot to talk about. Trust and believe. We're only scratching on the surface here. And we will continue the discussions again. Whoever is supporting these amendments, like we said, we don't even know what the amendments are, but we would invite you to come and to, make your contributions be heard, to tell us why you think that certain changes need to be made. Don't be afraid. What are you afraid of? Somebody said y'all are committing political suicide. Well, that's a chance that you take when you're not really listening to the people, but at least have the balls, have the gumption, have whatever testicular fortitude to just come to the people and say, hey, this is my position. This is why I hold this position. This is what we, the UPM government, are intending to do about it. Silence will be the death of you. And believe me when I tell you, silence will be the death of you. So we're hearing that Kathy is on the chopping block. I don't know what they're going to do with Andre, because I'm also hearing that Andre does not support the move, although he, again, hasn't said anything publicly. I understand that Premier Juliana O'Connor-Connolly may actually pull in people from the PPM who are still very much in cahoots with her. They have been complete radio silence on their part. They have not said anything around this subject matter at all, because they're in favor of it from what we can understand as well. They just need to tell the people that. I mean, don't keep us in suspense. I don't know what the big deal is. So that's what it is. And we're rolling into a weekend here. We'll see you guys back on Monday morning, God's willing, with another segment of the Cold Hard Truth. Please stay safe over the weekend. We're in for a rainy weekend. So, stay off the roads as much as possible is what I would recommend. But please do not mix drinking and driving and all this other foolishness that y'all be into on the weekends. Very, very dangerous. Poll question is still up. If you've not had an opportunity to vote in the poll yet, we'll stick it up on social media as well as the website. Good morning, caller.
Hi, Sandy. Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to tell you something quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I went to the licensing place in West Bay.
Mm-hmm.
All the chairs were taken. People were outside too, waiting. And there was one attendant at the counter.
Mm-hmm.
This was 1 o'clock in the day.
Okay.
So could you ask the head of that department what is really happening there?
Oh, okay.
One attendant and all the chairs.
And what time of day did you say it was?
1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay.
I wish you could have seen it.
Yes, we will reach out.
Thank you, darling.
Thanks very much. Yeah, so I'll send a message here right now, as a matter of fact. Okay, we'll try to find out. All right. Vote in the poll. So far, 87% says leave the National Conservation Act alone. 13% ready for some changes. Cast your vote. You guys know you can scan the QR code. I've shared the link and we'll post it up on social media as well. Share it with your various groups so that, they can have their opinion. I would say that that's a landslide so far, but they can have their opinion on the poll. All right. Any other questions? Anything pressing again, Humane Society asking for all hands on board to please assist them with fostering again today. Assist if you can. weather over the weekend predicted to rain, and some areas prone to flooding will definitely be flooding. Okie dokie. I believe that's all she wrote, honey child. All right, I'm going to go eat me some turned mangoes now. My lovely neighbor brought me some more of the nice Cayman long mangoes. And y'all know those are my favorite. He said, this is it now. This is the last of this variety on the tree. So I was like, oh, yes. Get the seasoned salt out. Get the pepper. I think I might need some more pepper. And I was peeling a few last night, and they're like perfect. Like that nice yellow, and they're so juicy and meaty. And you just sprinkle just a little bit of salt now because we're trying to watch the pressure. A little bit of pepper. Cannot describe how delicious they are. If you know, you know. If you don't know, well, you're missing out, honey chill. All right. Be good or be good at it. One or the other. I'll try to find out about Humane Society and DART. Thanks again, Symphony of the Seas and Ronaldo for asking the question. I'll try to find out more about where we are with that situation. Okay. That's all she wrote. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.